Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bargain Bin, a show about speedrunning games at or around $20. I'm Midnight Vesper, and I will be your host for this amazing show. If you're new here, here's how this works. For more current/digital games, we'll be looking at digital stores like Steam, GOG, Itch.io, Ubisoft, etc. to look at the list/MSRP price. For retro games, we'll be using a wide assortment of price charting websites looking at the loose price of the game. We do not count any sales or discounts as they vary from time of purchase. Do not forget that game and volunteer submissions for Frost Fatales 2023 are now open until November 26th, just a couple of days away. You can find more information at gamesdonequick.com/framefatales or the Games Done Quick Twitter to submit your games and volunteer applications. And do not forget your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits shared on the GDQ Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick, both with hotfix and with awesome Games Done Quick 2023 costs. So please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily GDQ content. And speaking of that daily GDQ content, we are here at the Bargain Bin, another amazing Monday, and we have two amazing games coming up. Later on in the show, we're going to be showcasing Rayman Legends, but first we have our friend Demonic Robots over here to showcase Thief, the 2014 version. How are you doing today, Demonic?
Hey there, I am doing really well, excited to get this run going. This is a very underrated game. There aren't a lot of runners for it. There aren't a lot of runners for Thief in general, which is a shame, but especially this game. So I'm really glad that I can showcase it and show this game to new people, especially because last time I did this, a lot has changed. So we'll be going over all the differences from my previous run. We talked about some of the new stuff and yeah, just having a good time.
Well, I'm excited.
Yes. So we're going to get started right here. Let me just make my mouse show up again. There we go. Time is going to start basically after we skip the opening cutscene, but I'm going to give a little bit of a lore of what's going on. This is not a sequel to the original Thief game. So if you played those as a kid from Looking Glass, this is kind of a remake, alternate universe, completely different story with same characters basically. So basically we're Garrett though, we're a thief, and we're going to be starting out by doing thief things. So time is going to start when we skip the opening cutscene. We're playing on the easiest difficulty, meaning that, you know, it's going to be a little bit easier to get through undetected. We don't have really any fail parameters that give us a game over. We're going to be using one of the preset difficulties and not one of the custom ones that the game allows you. But yeah, we're going to get started right here. This opening cutscene is basically just going to be Garrett doing, you know, Garrett things. And yeah, I'll give a countdown for the timer. So 3, 2, 1, go. So this is the prologue. This is supposed to be an introduction to the game, and already we're going to start off by stealing some items. This is usually how you get a majority of your gold when you're doing this game casually. However, other than those items that we picked up right there, we're pretty much not going to be picking up anything else exclusively for money. We will pick up a couple more objects throughout the game, but we're not going to be doing it to fund ourselves. This is going to be the prologue, so because of that, it is a tutorial, but it also means that it's one of the only areas where we will get a game over if we get caught when we're doing our thieving. So keep that in mind. A majority of this game is pretty much unstealth. But we're going to be learning some mechanics right here. This is the lockpick mechanic. We'll do these a couple of times. There is kind of a way to get this down very quickly, but it's kind of hard to explain. One thing you'll notice though is when the moment I am done picking the lock and I do the final part of it, I can basically just immediately do an animation cancel to get out of it, and it'll be unlocked. We're also getting introduced to something called swooping. Swooping is one of the main movement techs. Is basically where you kind of like get really low to the ground and you kind of sling yourself forward. It's going to be our main way of kind of navigating in certain areas because we do have an invisible stamina meter. We're also going to be meeting Erin right here. She is kind of Garrett's rival / protege. Basically, they have like, you know, the classic like angsty daughter-father relationship where he's like, I don't want to be your dad. And you guys know the tale. But yeah, she's going to be kind of serving as our companion for this opening area. And she also has an object called the Claw, which is essentially a object that allows her to kind of navigate a little bit more easily than Garrett. You're also going to notice how the dialogue gets kind of weird here. This game had a bit of a controversy when... Oh, I got the little bug. Nice. This game had a little bit of a controversy when it came out, where they did not get Garrett's original voice actor to return. This is a new person. And people didn't really like that. So they just added in the option to basically just completely get rid of his voice outside of cutscenes. Because normally he's supposed to be talking during the entire game. That's going to be completely gone. And it breaks a lot of these areas where we're supposed to be talking to Aaron here later on. But yeah, it saves a lot of time, so we unfortunately keep his voice off. He's not like bad at the job, he's actually really good. It's just purely a speedrun strat. But yep, we're gonna get another little lockpicking tutorial right here. Basically, you have to like kind of move your mouse around in the right spot, but if you do like a circle with your mouse while you're like doing the animation of you like hitting one of the locks, you can kind of get like a sneak peek of where it is and find it really quickly. So that's going to be a main way that we are going to be unlocking doors and other things in this game.
Somewhere, dear. I'm just the middleman. Besides, you're the only...
Right. And this should be the first part of the tutorial done. You also saw right there that I got a red mark. That's how you know you've been detected. And one of the things is that you can actually get detected by birds. So they'll kind of draw enemies over and cause some issues like that during your casual playthrough. Other than one single bird, they don't bother us too much, but that one single bird is very annoying if you're going for PB attempts.
Why is it that birds always seem like the most annoying in speedruns?
It's really bad. I don't know. I'm not too sure if it's because they're small and fast and annoying or anything like that. But this game is not the exception to that rule.
Every like RPG that I play, every game that I've seen that has some sort of bird, either mechanic or something in there, and just the birds become horrible.
It's really bad. So we're doing a little bit of a skip here. Normally you're supposed to go all the way around, and it teaches you to use what are called the water arrows, which casually in the game you can use to extinguish fires in order to sneak past in the darkness, and also it teaches you to move slowly. We're going to skip that, so we kind of get like a weird thing here where it turns into a black screen for several seconds and then plays out the cutscene. It's like the only area in the entire game. It's kind of a shame that's at the very beginning because we see this like almost every time. But yeah, that's like one of the only unskippable cutscenes in the entire game. There aren't too many of these. But yeah, this is gonna be the tutorial on how to take down people. You know, it's very simply just walk up to them and press Q. I'm gonna be a little careful here because sometimes you can accidentally bump into him, and if that happens, you go back a little bit of a ways and have to watch that cutscene again. So we're gonna avoid that. But here we go. We learn more about Erin, and we kind of learned that she's a little reckless. She's a little like, you know, enjoying thievery too much and is kind of causing problems because of that. She's not the grumpy old expert like Garrett is.
You're holding me back.
And again, more of the teenage angst right there.
Now, I know you mentioned earlier you kind of use your mouse like almost going that motion for the lock, but like how hard is that actually to like master?
If you're trying to do it very quickly, like some of the other runners can do, specifically YBib, he can get it down almost immediately every single time. Me, it's a little bit slower, but it's definitely something that like isn't too big of a deal if you're not that far behind. It's a pretty easy movement. You just kind of have to like know like when to actually click down on it in order to avoid missing it. And there we go. We get more of Erin doing her thing. And sadly, this is going to be the last of Erin we're going to be seeing for a little while. But we did get her claw, which is the thing that she can use to climb grades and use as kind of a slingshot almost. Or not slingshot, like a grappling hook. But yeah, so basically what happens is we're both trying to steal something, and she ends up getting falling through a glass window, and the building kind of crumples, and Garrett gets knocked out, and the game starts out with us waking up later on. It should be noticed that there were a couple of old people doing spooky ritualistic stuff that we didn't really know what it was, but we'll find out through the game's plot. But here we go. This is the first mission of the game that's actually a mission and not the prologue. We're actually going to be trying to do this in a ghost playstyle. So basically, whenever you complete a mission, there's 3 styles. It's like ghost, opportunist, and predator. and these will give different bonuses and have different requirements in order to get them. However, you can get a certain playstyle and not get all of the challenges done for it, and then you won't get the bonuses. So not only do we need to get the ghost playstyle, we need to get the bonuses that comes with. That basically means that we can't get detected, we cannot get spotted, and I think we when we're doing it casually, you can't leave too many things behind. So you can't blow out too many candles and alert people to your status. Early on, when I was running this game and when a lot of other runners were running this, it was kind of almost random. What you would end up getting on this first level. So you would basically go through the entire first 4 minutes and then realize, oh crap, I didn't get the opportunist playstyle, so I can't continue my run. Because the reason we need it is if we do ghost, we actually get enough gold in order to get a bonus that we need later on, and that will allow us to buy items when we need to.
I hate that friggin' bird.
So here we go. We're gonna set these pins. There we go. And another thing you can do is you can actually swoop out of animations, so we don't have to watch that entire thing of Garrett yoinking that mask, and then he kind of talks about it. There.
So how dedicated?
Oh, go ahead.
So how dedicated is the gold? Is it to where point you can have a safe area, or is it you have to basically get this amount to make sure that everything's fine?
For this first area, you need to get a certain amount. I think we should be okay. I didn't see any red from those alerts, so I think we should be fine. If not, I'll have to load a save, unfortunately. But I think we should be good. But yeah, this first area, it's very tight on the gold. If you don't get the bonus that you need, you just don't get it, which is really bad. But later on, though, it becomes a little bit better, where you don't really need to worry about it as much. It's basically just to get a tool early on in order to actually do one of the glitches that we want to do. But there we go. And we should see a coin pop-up coming up here, hopefully, if we got it right. We did. Okay. We are good.
Nice.
So that is chapter 1, and this is where the game really opens up. This is kind of Garrett's headquarters and his base that he lives in. And right now what we need to do is we need to go meet Basso. Basso is from the original games, and he's basically kind of like our fence, our guy on the street who tells us about, all the good thievery going on. And we're gonna go talk to him and kind of say hi. We haven't spoken in a little while on the count of, almost dying. But this is kind of where the game opens up to this hub area called the city, which basically acts as go to this point and then you can start this mission, go to that point, start that mission with a few things in between. From now on, pretty much stealth is not going to matter except in very tiny situations, but we're not going to be doing any missions purely out of stealth. But we're going to talk to Basso right there. We're going to skip the cutscene. You guys didn't miss too much. Basically, Basso, though, is like, hey, where have you been? And we're like, what are you talking about? And he goes, oh, you've been missing for an entire year. So we've missed out on quite a bit. But we're going to grab our items that I was mentioning that we needed to get earlier. We grab a wrench and we grab 2 water arrows. We need to grab this right now because we actually don't get an opportunity to talk to a merchant until much later in the game, and it's after the points where we need those items. So we need the wrench for chapter 2 coming up right here, and we'll need the water arrows in chapter 4. So right now in the story, though, Garrett is going to go talk to the Queen of Beggars, and she's going to give us a task, a goal, something to steal. As thieves do. I will mention, though, there's not a lot of thievery in this game. You actually don't steal too much in the main missions. Most of it is in the side content that you do, and we're not doing the side content. So that's definitely an interesting design decision that they decided to opt into.
So the game's title is not accurate to the game.
It kind of is. You are a thief, but it's in a very loose sense of the words. It's very interesting because thief is a very, very well-known franchise and was one of the first stealth action games. It was kind of really the thing that popularized it in games like Assassin's Creed and Dishonored. Took heavy inspiration from those games. And it's kind of funny because this game is basically just trying to take all those ideas that Assassin's Creed and Dishonored had and then put it into a very streamlined product, completely missing the point of the original games. But I still think it's fun. I know some of the other runners for the franchise don't really like this game. I really like it, even casually, but I can see their grievances. So we're gonna head into here.
You like it.
Exactly. I also didn't mention this, but now we have the claw that we didn't have the prologue. This is going to allow us to do a bunch of basically movement stuff. And this is also gonna be the first instance of where that Assassin's Creed inspiration I talked about comes into, because we're gonna go into third person here to do a little climbing section, little bit of parkour that is basically just me holding W. So not gonna do, like, not a whole lot going on here, but I will say that the art style of this game looks amazing, and Garrett's design is absolutely top tier. And exactly what I would expect from a Thief at this time. So you have to give them some credit. They made this game look really nice, especially for the time period.
Yeah.
With the lowlifes. I wonder what he's got.
There's also a lot of the empty spots in this game. Those are usually not like the game being weird as much as the game is supposed to have Garrett talking there to fill the awkward silence. And because his voice is turned off, we don't actually have that. Again, I don't know why they implemented it as a mechanic, but it's really nice because it saves literally an entire minute in the game, and most of that is like basically dead air time that just nothing happens. But we're going to get introduced to our very first out of bounds. So what we're going to be doing here, it's a little bit of a complicated glitch. In this game, you can't actually really do a whole lot unless you are prompted by the game. So for example, if you thought that we could do jumping whenever, I cannot. There is no dedicated jump button. It is only if I get a contextual menu to pop up. And contextual menus are a little weird in this game. So what we're going to do here is basically going to store this animation. So we're going to grab that vent, and it's going to try and have us unscrew it to go inside of it. And you can see there's an E prompt on my screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to get to a specific spot, and it's going to try and drag us to that vent, and it's not going to work. So we're going to do the animation, which is going to allow us to go through the wall right here, and then it's going to do it one more time to push us out of this little spot, and we are now out of bounds. This is the main mechanic for how we actually go out of bounds in the game. And then we can drop down right here, and we skip basically the entire level. You're supposed to go through it entirely and find a ring and run into a bad guy who's the general thief taker, all this like stuff. And we're just going to completely go over it with that out of bounds. It's kind of a tricky thing. You have to be very careful with where you do it and how you do it, because it's very easy to get stuck in a lot of different areas. I mentioned how like there is no dedicated jump button, and that becomes a problem later on if you aren't careful. Because basically what ends up happening is that navigation out of bounds is very difficult, since a lot can go wrong. Because you can't, like, if you fall into like a tiny little spot, there's not going to be any jump prompts, and you kind of get stuck. But that is going to be chapter 2. That is going to be the first one done. And yeah, I think that was a pretty good start so far. After every mission, we're basically going to be returning here again to Garrett's base of operations, and where you get more lore stuff. We're also introduced to a man. I can't remember his name. I think it's Orion. Yeah, it's Orion. He's basically going to be like a religious leader who is trying to get us to steal things and do things for him and all that jazz. I won't talk about the story too much. It's not really that interesting. But this chapter is one of my favorites because it is very broken. But first things first, Garrett needs to go talk to Orion, and then we're going to be searching for Aaron. So Aaron is alive but missing, and Garrett kind of feels bad for what happened because it was somewhat his fault.
I mean, you kind of took the weapon, so that's, you know, it makes sense.
That might have caused her some problems later on when she tried to use it and didn't expect it to be gone, and it was. So he feels a little bit bad about it. But we're going to go visit her hideout, and this is where the game kind of gets a little weird, but we get some spooky stuff going on. But first we need to get through this little area. It's not too difficult, But we basically want to try and run through here without getting alerted and without enemies following us too much. For certain props and certain doors and certain things, if enemies are too close to you and they are alerted, they will not allow you to go through them. They'll say alert in progress and you got to shake it off, and that can be really bad during a run. Even though this is on the easiest difficulty, it is still a stealth game. So when you're running through a stealth game without a care in the world and you're not trying to be stealthy, enemies do a lot of damage. I'm gonna run into V right here, trying to not get hit, and we got hit anyway, but that's fine. Oh, I got hit twice. That's also not great, but we should be okay. And we're basically, running to the very next level. You'll see a lot of these, like, Garrett opening a window, Garrett pushing over a beam, and all that stuff. This game came out on the original Xbox 360 and PS3, and it was kind of revolutionary at the time because what it was trying to do is it was trying to hide loading screens a lot. So there'd be a lot of these like same animations going over and over that are secretly, loading triggers. We're actually going to skip a couple of these because sometimes it's faster RTA to skip them. But I'll show those later on. But we're going to be seeing a lot of those animations of Garrett opening a door or opening a window or doing stuff. But whenever you see that, 99% of the time, it is just trying to hide a load. Okay, and now we're going to be coming over into Aaron's secret hideout. I'm going to be a little careful here because we're a little low on health. It shouldn't matter too much, but I'm just going to be taking this, just safely.
So you say when you're low on health, is that the bar on the bottom left?
Yes, so there's 3 things there. There is the light gem, which tells you how visible you are in the light. There's the green health bar, which is our HP. And there's a blue bar called focus, which is used for your powers that you have a couple of that you normally run into when you're playing the game casually. But we don't really use those until later on. Also, we have a kind of dream hallucination thing right here. This is one of the main areas of the game where Garrett's voice would come in and would cost us time, but because it's turned off, we just kind of get an awkward run-in with Aaron. But we lose a lot of dialogue because the game is supposed to have you talk to Aaron and communicate with her during these sections, and because we have it off, he just doesn't.
It's from before I left home.
So is that one of the reasons why PC may be more optimal? Or is it just a, like, if you want to do it on a console?
Oh, no, it's
would
a game setting.
Category.
Console is yeah, it's not us going into the files and removing the voice. It's literally just an option of turn Garrett's voice off.
Oh. I know you mentioned that earlier, and that's what I thought you meant by that.
No, it's literally just Square Enix decided to put in a turn off his voice because people didn't like it. Even though it's actually pretty decent. But we're gonna find a medallion right there. In the old run, and this level was very, very different when I ran it last time. We would basically use that as like a decoder. The be sure to drink your Ovaltine, basically, except for a magical book that we would steal. We're not going to do that anymore. One of the community members, I think it was Thanks4, who found this glitch, basically found a way to pretty much skip the upcoming area entirely. The upcoming area, though, is also one of the hardest in the entire run. It's called the House of Blossoms. The reason it's difficult is because we need to do a very hard storage with that animation that we used to get out of bounds earlier. And we need to do it while we are getting attacked. When I am storing my animations, I have to hold down the sprint button and the forward. And I can't actually... I actually can't not let go. If I let go, it does one of the animations, and that can be really bad. So you basically have to be running forward, and you can't really get blocked, because if you run out of stamina, it also plays out the animation. So hopefully everything goes okay. If it does, great. If it doesn't, then that should be okay. The game is very generous with its saving system and gives us a lot of auto saves and a lot of opportunities to quick save. So everything should be fine. But yeah, it can be a kind of annoying part when you're on, PB pace and when you're doing runs. This is like one of the bigger run killers. But basically, we're heading to a brothel because it is built on top of a underground church that's been like in ruins and abandoned for a long time. But that has a secret ancient book that Orion, who I mentioned earlier, wants us to find. You're also going to see me doing this right here. That's kind of a dodge mechanic that you can use to dodge enemies when they are attacking at you. When you are out of stamina, and it is kind of like the fastest way to move forward because your stamina still regenerates and you still run a little bit faster than just walking normally.
End up a rat show if
Yep.
I'm not careful.
So what we're going to do right here is I'm going to be trying to swoop through this area, and I'm going to open a door, and then we are going to try and run through without getting blocked by the enemies. We don't really mind if they see us. We just don't want to get blocked because getting through them and squeezing past can be kind of annoying. Running through these guys. So this is the closet that we're going to use. We're going to get the storage. Oh, that's not great. That should be fine though. There we go. We got the storage. So we're going to do one right here so we don't run out of stamina. So we're going to drop down right here. Hopefully we don't get hit by anything. As long as there's not an enemy in front of us, we should be fine. Okay, there was, but that's okay because he didn't actually swing at us. Gonna climb up
Just
right
enjoying
here.
the view.
Yep. Then we should be able to do that, and that's gonna teleport us back to under this stairwell. I don't know how this works.
I'm sorry,
We're gonna
what?
do this. Yep. So we run over into that angle, and it ports us over here. That was the closet that we were under earlier, and now we're gonna be walking very carefully, and we are good.
I just enjoyed how
I
there
don't
was
know
someone
why it
else
works.
there.
Yeah. I don't know how the glitch actually works. It basically like just has to do with like the animations and trying to pull you over to that closet. But yeah, it lets us go out of bounds here, and we're going to walk very carefully upwards. And what we're going to do here is we're going to angle ourselves in a spot. I'm going to pause and unpause the game. And what that's going to do is that's going to have us fall through the floor, and then we're going to hit a loading trigger. And I'm going to wait here until it actually finishes loading the area and doing the autosave like that. And if everything went okay, it should basically port us over to that autosave spot.
How did someone discover that?
A great question. It has to. That trick has actually gone through a lot of variances. But basically it had to do with just like, someone finding that you could store the like animation stuff and then finding the right spots and then realizing, oh, if you're standing like right here, you get teleported. So normally you're supposed to do this entire thing where you're supposed to like go through and get a book and do all that stuff. And we're just going to completely skip all of that and go to the end of the level. So you're missing out a lot of context on the game, which is good because if you want to play this game, it's spoiler free because we're just skipping every single level. But thankfully that does calm down. There are a couple of limits. We do not actually have any out of bounds really for its upcoming area. So if you are a glitch hunter, there is still plenty to be discovered. And as you can see with that glitch right there, there's definitely like ones that we do not know about that are like that. And the route has actually changed a couple of times since there were a couple of runners for the game. But like I remember last time I was here, I said for like one area, it would be like the golden goose if we could get this certain area to to be skipped. And then next thing I knew, a runner or a person came in, it was a glitch hunter, came in and did that exactly for us. So definitely more things to get found out. But here we go. We're going to be heading back. So we headed over to talk to Basso. Unfortunately, he's been kidnapped. We don't know where he is, but we have an idea. So we're going to go save him. And I think pretty much the rest of the missions in the entire game are not about us stealing. They're about us doing other things. So that's fun. That's exactly what I want to do in a game called Thief, where we're a thief and we're doing thief things.
I mean, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately this level is a little bit annoying because there aren't any out of bounds, but there's definitely a time where something bad could happen and your run could die. So, it's always great. But right now we're going to be running through. We're going to get into one of these other loading triggers right here. It's going to take us to the other area, one of the secret ones. But right now we are heading over to the architect's manor, and the architect is the person who built a prison called the Keep, and we're going to go into his house to steal the blueprints of the Keep in order to actually get in. It should be worth noting that right now what's going on is there is like a religious group in the streets that is kind of protesting and rioting against the really, really rich people who control the town, and they're called the Graven, and they're arguing and fighting with a lot of the guardsmen. So there's a lot of chaos going on right now, and Garrett kind of just gets stuck in the middle. Kind of in between a rock and a hard place. So unfortunately for Garrett, he's not really having too much fun here. So we're supposed to be meeting with somebody. We're not going to actually do that. We're just going to go straight to the architect's house. But yeah, so not a whole lot going on this level just yet, but this upcoming part is very difficult. Basically, it's one of the areas where we need to lose an enemy. So enemies are going to be like aggroed to us, and we need them to basically not be. And it can be very, very, very annoying, and it's kind of random. So this area might take me a couple of tries. I do apologize, but it's pretty much RNG if we are able to actually lose them here.
All right, boys.
So we're gonna do something kind of weird here. We're gonna hit this guy, or not. It's not gonna let us do that. That's fine, but he got out of the way, so that's good. We're gonna shut this door, so it's kind of harder for them to follow us.
I thoroughly enjoyed how the guy just pulled out his sword and then just didn't bother to look behind.
Yeah, it was great. And they didn't bother us, so that's actually good. So what we need to do here is we're going to shoot this with a water arrow. That's going to extinguish that. And then I'm going to swoop right next to a bird, which is going to pull that guard over, and that gives us just enough time to find this switch. So this is gonna be the secret entrance to the back rooms of the architect's like manor, and because of that, we got through it. So that was actually really, really good. And I went the wrong way, but that's fine. So we're gonna go down on this elevator, and we'll just have to go all the way back up. That's okay. Gives us some more time to talk. Vesper, if you have any questions so far, because I know that this could be kind of a confusing game, now is the right time to do so.
So nothing yet. I've been watching and stuff like that. I did see a good comment, and I have to agree with this, that someone in the chat said that this would be a great game in VR.
Oh, for sure. Like, there's definitely some good
yeah.
aspects about it, and I think if we do the side content in the game, like when you're playing this casually, it definitely feels more like a thieving game, because you're breaking into people's houses, you're sneaking around by the candlelight, and you're shooting up rope arrows in order to access new places and all that. Unfortunately, just with this speed run, we kind of skip over a lot of that. There are other categories that you can do that kind of make it more difficult, because basically this game has a really interesting thing where the difficulties outside of like the main row, easy, normal, and hard, are kind of set up like a point system, where the more challenging it gets, the more points you get. So there's one category called 1300 points, which basically turns every single difficulty up to the very max. And that is like not really been rounded too much. So if you want to like kind of find a interesting category where we know where you're not running past everything and you're playing like an actual thief, that would definitely be something that could be possible, because that's not really routed yet, but it's a very difficult category. But
Also,
here we go.
Go ahead.
Yep. Oh, I was just gonna say we're actually in the architect's like secret office, so we still need to find the blueprints though, and we need to do a puzzle, which is going to be that right down there. So very simple puzzle. It's basically just like 2 turns, 1 turn, 2 turns.
It'll go easier on you if you come willingly.
There we go. And now we're going to be getting a really like action scene, which is one of the critiques that a lot of the OG fans had for this game. The OG game was very much stealth and being sneaky and being, a thief. This part is literally just Assassin's Creed. But yeah, now would be a good time to continue talking.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to make sure and let everyone know that volunteer submissions for Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 online are actually closed, but the final schedule for the event is live. You can find it at gamesdonequick.com/schedule. You can always go, talk to us on social media. What games are you really looking forward to? I would love to know, chat. Demonic, what games are you looking forward to at Awesome Games Done Quick?
I haven't seen too much of the list yet, but I'm really excited for the horror block, as that was kind of my bread and butter for the most part when I started out speedrunning. So whenever I see like horror games that don't get too often shown at the event, I get really excited.
Oh yeah, I love when you see like those hidden gems and hidden horror gems. Horror block in general is just a really fun block.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dead Space 3 is going to be there. Pretty sure. Could be wrong about that, but pretty much any horror game at the GDQ is like I get so excited and block out time to watch it. But yeah, so we escaped from the architect's house. We are also blamed for his death, but that doesn't really come up in the plot later on. And now we are heading over to the keep in order to save Basso. Thankfully, though, it is under attack by the Graven, who, like I said, were the cult guys that we're working with, that Orion is actually the leader of. And yeah, we're gonna be basically kind of coming out at a good time, because it is currently getting attacked. So because of that, we can just use this opportunity to sneak on in and go save Basso. We get more and more explosions, but these aren't really that big of a deal. They're kind of just for cinematic purposes. This is kind of a cool thing, though. Normally, if you run on this, the floor will break down and you'll have to go like do some more platforming. But if you just slowly sneak across, the game kind of rewards you for that and doesn't actually force you to drop down. I'm gonna try and avoid these because it slows us down, but the hitbox on those is kind of weird. It's like the initial burst from it rather than the like flames itself, so it can be kind of hard to tell where it is. Also, we get like a piston thing going on right now because it's supposed to be kind of a factory, and they are definitely not having a good time here.
I saw a lot of people in chat comparing a lot of the stuff to like Lara Croft, Call of Duty. See, a lot of people said that the speedrun looks really fun as well.
Yeah, speedrun is insanely fun. I would say that all the Thief runs are actually really good. Especially like the Thief 1 and 2 are very, very technical games, and you kind of have to know how the game's code works in order to run it. This one is definitely much more of a traditional speedrun, but it's still like really, really good and one of my favorites.
It's always fun like to find these type of games and then you see them like showcased here, and then you get those like out of bounds sequences like we had earlier. And it's just that, how do people come up with that type of stuff? That's what I always enjoy about these type of speedruns and showcasing them. Yeah,
the glitch hunters are always insanely talented and impressive, because I can't do any of that stuff. That's just like not my wheelhouse.
Same.
So it's really cool to see them do that, and they are kind of the reason that this game is such a fun speedrun. And I kind of hope we get more glitch hunters, because we've only had like 2 or 3 major glitch hunters kind of come in and do stuff for the game. And I would love to see like just a few more people come in and really kind of break this game apart, especially for this section right here, because this section is just going to be an elevator ride with story stuff that's going on and all that. That's not very interesting. So again, if you're a glitch hunter and you're like looking for a new project, this is a perfect game to pick up. And along with that, you know, it's a pretty cheap game. That's why it's on here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is a Square Enix game, so the Lara Croft comparison is definitely pretty accurate. This was also like right around that time when the remake came out. They were just about only a couple of years apart, so there's definitely some stuff that like crossed over between development. We also got some more like stuff going on right there. We learned that the kind of leader of the city is kind of using basically robots, or whatever the equivalent is for this medieval fantasy, to do production, which people aren't happy about, and that's kind of why they are attacking the keep. Also, we saw in that cutscene that we actually saved Basso, so Basso is okay. He was able to get out, but Garrett knows that there is a huge safe in here, and you know he is a thief, so he is going to do some thief things. So we're actually going to go break into this. Because, you know, it has to have something good in it if it's this big of a safe, right?
Yeah. If it's that big of a safe, I'd probably put like $15 in there.
At least.
Yeah.
So we need to press those 2 buttons. That's going to open this up right here, and then we can do the code. Code's always the same. It's 319. never changes. And then we're going to do this next one, and we're going to get a cutscene. And Garrett is actually going to get shot in the hand by the General Thief Taker, who again has been kind of the bad guy we've been running into. And here is the reason we downpatch this game. So we downpatch this game, which is very annoying because this game version is not stable, but we do it for specifically this glitch and nothing else, where what we do is we touch the dial, and if we go, we didn't get it. If you touch the dial and then you pull back at the same time you're moving forward, you actually can fit in between the doors and you can get through it and just avoid having to open it. And it's really good because you don't have to stealth through the section. You don't have to worry about getting really hit by enemies if you get through it. It can be a little bit annoying, but it's definitely worth it.
That's a really good thief when you think about it. All I have to do is, instead of having to put a combination, you just touch it and then just clip through a door. That's impressive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it definitely can be a little wonky though, because like I said, when it comes to out of bounds in this game, you just have like no control. You really have to hope that it works out in your favor, because if you fall from like even just a small little height, you can die. It's not wanting us to go through. We'll try this a couple more times. But yeah, it's like it just doesn't like let you have enough control over your own character in order to properly navigate the out of bounds. And I run another game called Control, and that game gives you like all the tools to navigate out of bounds. You have like jumping, you have flying, you have dashing, you have all this other great stuff, and you don't really have that here. And this glitch is not wanting to play ball. So I'm gonna give this one more try, and then we're gonna be doing the kind of stealthy way of going through this. Because normally you're supposed to kind of just phase right through, but we're getting stuck on the door, which can be a little bit annoying.
So what I'm hearing here is, for this particular speedrun, since you're, as a thief, you got to be, you got to be really tricky. You got to be really, really stable and, precise to get the right glitches. And then when you said control, because of that, it gives you control to do the glitches. Am I right about that?
That is pretty accurate. This game is a thief of your movement mechanics, unfortunately.
Hope you like pain, criminal.
See? Wordplay.
There we go.
That's why it's called Thief. Now we found
and the
out.
wordplay, I think, helps quite a bit because we got through that. We just have to wait for the alert in progress. It's going to give us that. There we go. Basically, so we were able to get through that, and now we get a little bit of a dream sequence. This is another one of the areas in the game that actually where is this? There it is. This is one of the areas in the game that I was talking about, that like Garrett would be talking during a lot of this, and because we have his voice turned off, the game just kind of skips ahead.
Filthy children will do as I say, or you'll feel the sting of my whip.
So
Come here, boy.
basically in the story, we're getting more lore on what happened to Erin.
But underneath all the noise,
She essentially got what's called like the primal stone embedded in, like, imbued with her, so she got some powers from that, and the cult is like having her hostage and trying to do their cult rituals to cure a plague, but the cure for the plague is actually worse than the plague itself. So that is a big point in the game that we're trying to figure out what's going on there. I will mention that this game almost is a horror game, and some of these sections are going to have jump scares and be scary and be intentionally frightening. So just want to give a fair warning, if you don't like horror games, there are a couple more sections that are going to feel very much so, including a jump scare coming up right here. So warning on the jump scare.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. The game just honestly like jumps out at you with a horror level coming up out of absolutely nowhere. Like you're just like enjoying the game, having a good time being a thief, and then bam, like ghost person. I think this game
fun,
also,
the next thing you know, someone just randomly grabs your arm and just, hears you.
right? I think this game came out around the time when that first Wolfenstein reboot came out, and the game did that same thing of making the afterlife that like cyan blue stuff and interjecting some horror into their action game, and again, this game definitely took inspiration from that style. But here we go. We're coming to one of my favorite levels in the game, particularly because it's really long and has a lot of cool out of bounds tech. We're also going to be showcasing some more stuff. So like I said, you can store like interaction prompts to do stuff with that. And you can do it obviously to get out of bounds, but you can also do it to like skip some loads, which is really cool. But right now, the Graven have kind of taken over completely. So even though we're friends with Orion and doing a lot of stuff for him, they're kind of just on like a murder frenzy at the moment. So because of that, they're pretty much just killing anybody, including us. So we need to stay out of their way. If you want to continue where you were talking about earlier, feel free.
Oh, I was just gonna say it was a nice nod that we were talking about how the game slightly gets into a horror-based game, and then the next area you spawn into is called the Clock Tower.
Exactly, yeah. Every time I see a clock tower in a game, I get so excited because Clock Tower 3 is one of my first loves of speedrunning. So anytime I see Clock Tower in a game, even if it has nothing to do with horror whatsoever, I get giddy. So this was a perfect game for me because it has clocks and it has towers. Yeah. Yep, we are running basically to our next area. We got to go meet with Fatso at a restaurant, and he's going to help us get over to a island called Moira Asylum. It's basically an insane asylum that Aaron was kept in, and we learned that they were secretly experimenting on the people there, basically using that primordial stones like powers and trying to cure the plague. And of course, it causes some bad things to happen. So we're going to go find out exactly what those bad things are. I have to be a little careful running through here because sometimes these guys will get alerted to you. And again, if they are alerted to you and they are too close, you'll get a alert in progress notification, which can be bad. But we got to the tavern, so we're okay.
Yeah, so canonically, how long does this game take? Because I noticed that earlier when you got shot in the arm by the arrow, the wound is still there and it's still got the like gauze, I guess, on there.
Yeah, I never liked that because it's like actually like 2 weeks after.
Oh wow, that seems.
I don't know why he like hasn't changed it at all. So right now we are buying all the stuff that we need. We're gonna buy all these flash bombs. We're gonna buy some of that stuff, and then we need to buy a tool, a wire cutter. So just gonna make sure we got everything. We got our rope arrows. Oh, that's selling. I will need to buy that back. And we got our choke arrows. We got everything that we need. Cool. So basically, that's gonna be us stocking up for pretty much the rest of the game. I might go do like a safety merchant that we can do near the end of the game, but hopefully if I got everything there correctly, we shouldn't be needing them. But the good thing is about the items that we got is they're going to A, give us some safety with those flash bombs, B, give us some healing, so in case something bad happens, if we get hit or whatever, we have a way to get back some HP now. And yeah, the good thing about those flash bombs as well is we don't really need to pick up a bottle anymore in order to do the animation storage. We can just use the flash bombs to do it, which is really nice. But yeah, we're going to get some spooky stuff on this level. So fair warning, if you do not like horror games, this is like the worst chapter for you because this is literally just only jump scares and spooky stuff going on.
But if you do like horror games and you like horror speedruns, don't forget that every other Wednesday here on Hotfix is Speedruns from the Crypt every other Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. Definitely could. If it was just this level and this level alone, it could definitely fit in that. See, we got like the door slamming on us from behind. We gotta look through a peephole. And, I'm sure nothing will jump scare us here. I'm sure nothing's gonna happen. It's gonna be all okay. Oh God.
Oh, hi.
Honestly, it took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to not get jump scared by that. Like multiple attempts going through it.
That's a legit good jump scare, though.
It is, because especially when you're doing the game casually, you're looking through a lot of peepholes and doing all that. So yeah, we're gonna do another animation storage. Gonna get under here. So, whoops, we need to unscrew this first. This is what we got that tool at the very beginning for. Gonna get the storage there. Perfect.
I thought that was like a grenade you're gonna throw in there.
No, it is technically a grenade, but it's like a flash grenade, but we don't throw it. Not yet. We will later on, though.
Okay.
Oh, I think this might get me stuck. Yeah, okay. We're gonna have to redo that one right there. Good thing I made a safety save. This one's can be kind of a little bit weird because it stores the prompts a little too long. So because of that, sometimes they get like stuck in weird spots. But let's try that again, shall we? So we're gonna store it.
Just remember, compliment the game's thievery.
Exactly. That's what always works. This game is very good at stealing stuff. I love stealing coins and goblets and weird pictures. Oh, okay. What we're gonna do right here is we're gonna do a backup one. This is a little bit slower than doing that jump, but it's also a little bit safer. Basically, the way that it works is you press the interact prompt and you get it like once, and then you let go of your stuff and it hits it twice. So you have at least 2 of them that you can do. Sometimes it's very important, sometimes it's just nice to do. Also, be careful here because sometimes it stores the animation. As you can see, like it's stored right there. So we'll see if this teleports us back. Sometimes it does. Nope, it did not. Cool.
Oop. Oh well.
Right, and then we're gonna look at this. This is gonna be a ledger that basically tells us what room Aaron was actually stored in the asylum. Get a spooky moving wheelchair. So this is one of my favorite tricks in the game. We're gonna look at that interaction prompt. And then we're gonna move forward, and that's going to have us interact with this right here, this loading trigger. And because we kind of glitched out the game, it's not going to force us to do the really slow animation of like going through it, and it's just going to teleport us over to the other side. Also, jump scare warning. There we go. But yeah, so that's one of my favorite ones, is it lets us kind of just skip having to do that really annoying interaction prompt. All right. So, gonna do another one. This is gonna really take us out of bounds. Hopefully, as long as it works. We're gonna get right here. It's gonna teleport us right over here. We're gonna burst out of it, and we're just gonna drop straight down. And that was unexpected because normally that doesn't happen, but that's okay. Cool. We found something. I have never seen that before in my entire life.
Oh, good.
And you see all those light up. Cool. And we're gonna
Everyone got to witness something.
Spot. Yeah, that's actually faster. I hope I can do that some other time.
Nice.
Normally you get stuck in the wall and you need to do the animation a second time. But yeah, that didn't happen there. Also, hopefully this works. Yeah, I might have found something new. Okay, cool. Also, right there, what I ended up doing is I paused in midair as I was following, so it reloaded the level. We're gonna let that guy go through. That's one of the spooky enemies, by the way. I don't remember the name of them. They're basically like the 096 monster from SCP. But we're gonna be kind of ignoring them for the most part. They'll chase after us a little bit, but basically their entire thing is they do not like light. So anything that is light, like these flash bombs, will immediately kill them. So we're gonna use the flash bomb right there. And we're also gonna try and do an animation storage on that little syringe right there. Hopefully it works. Ah, it didn't work. That's fine. Wait, yeah, that's fine. So normally you can skip this right here as well if you do the timing on that correctly, where it'll just put you on the other side. Unfortunately, that didn't work, but it's okay. It's not too big of a time loss, especially when it comes to RTA. But we're gonna get more spooky stuff going on right now. More of these monsters trying to come after us and, you know, eat us or do whatever it is that monsters do with their targets. But thankfully though, we're gonna get saved by Aaron, kind of, who's gonna teleport us into this magical special area.
Sweet. Teleportation is always good.
It really is. It's really nice.
maybe they just wanted a hug. That's my theory about this whole thing.
I mean, that is true. That is a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just
Again,
never
also
know.
fair warning, spooky stuff gonna happen. Just to let y'all know. But yeah, basically this is a dream sequence with a bunch of lore talking about what happened. Because you have to remember the gap between the prologue and chapter 1 is an entire year. So she was captured for quite a while. Also, spooky statue. Very scary. So this is basically where Erin was during that year. She was captured and being held hostage essentially and experimented on. Not fun stuff. Also, again, Garrett is supposed to be talking here and discussing all the stuff that he is currently experiencing. Of course, though, we have his voice off, so we're not going to hear any of that. Got another lockpick. There we go.
That's clever, putting a lock where an eye, like, or putting the poster where the lock is.
Yeah, that's especially
actually
clever
really
because that's where
clever.
the bun was earlier. Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
this game has amazing art style. Like, you can't deny, like, even though gameplay wise the game might not be for all Thief fans, but it looks fantastic. Especially like later on, if you play this game casually, you'll see that the hand animations and the way that he moves his fingers is very much how I would expect a Thief to like move, and he's very dexterous and all that.
Now, I know that you're playing on PC and you're using keyboard and mouse for this type of stuff, and I know you said earlier this game originally came out on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Is there a reason in particular why you're using keyboard and mouse, or is it just personal preference?
It's just personal preference. When it comes to the game, you can actually do it on controller. Like the world record holder for the time, YBBU, actually plays on console, which is insanely impressive to me because the movement's still very difficult on a controller, but it's possible. And he's a great example of it. So if you are a console player, you can still run this game, which is a very, very nice. But yeah, when it comes to it, I'm a PC person. Mouse and keyboard's my bread and butter. That's even how I do fighting games, which some people probably really, really hate, but I cannot do it with a controller. So yeah, I really am a big fan and proponent of mouse and keyboard, though, especially with a lot of the movement, because the main issue, I think, doing this game with controller is a lot of it is reliant on you having a very fast camera and looking around very quickly. So that can be kind of hard to do on the controller. But I mean, if that's something that if you're comfortable with a controller, like, you can still run this game, no problem.
Was all that yelling supposed to happen there?
Yes, that does. There's supposed to be stuff going on. Again, you're supposed to be taking this like very slow pace, going through, watching the world, crumble and unfold and all that. And of course, this is a speed run, so we're just skipping right over all that and completely ruining the wonderful setup that this game has for a lot of its scenarios.
This sounded so random. That's what threw me off.
It is. Don't worry though. In context of the universe, it makes a little bit more sense.
Okay.
So we're heading to the Baron's Manor. Baron is the main kind of bad guy that we saw at the beginning of the game doing some spooky ritual stuff. And this is also where we were earlier in the game. This is actually the prologue level. We're just going to be going through it on a different way. So what we're going to do here is we're going to shoot this guy, though. That's going to stun him, and he's not going to follow us. We're also going to go into our journal while we're here, and we're going to do focus upgrades, and we're going to get... should be, which one is it again? This one right here. So we're going to unlock that. It's going to give us dexterity, and then we're going to unlock that, which is going to allow us to see the inner workings of lockpicks. So now because of that, we can actually do them faster, which is really nice.
Rayman on the way, and he's not even here. Digging himself a ditch. What am I saying? He'll make someone.
Oh, that's not great. Wait, no, we're fine. We're fine. He didn't see us. It's okay. That actually could have been kind of bad because I did not mean to drop that early. You're supposed to wait for a dialogue, and I didn't wait long enough, but it didn't get us killed. So I will take it.
That's actually a really cool way to do the lockpick, though, when it comes to that.
Yeah, I love the lock being in this game. And that's how you can see it's a little bit faster, as you can see this. And especially since that's our first 4-pin lock instead of a 3-pin lock, it is definitely worth getting that upgrade. Because really, the other focuses don't help you too much. But right now, we are in the Baron's Manor. Garrett normally mentions like traps and all this stuff here. Of course, you know, we have his voice off, so he's not gonna be talking about it. I really recommend that if you play this game casually, do not turn off his voice. Even if you don't like it, it breaks a lot if you do not have it on, and you miss out on a lot of context for a lot of scenarios and scenes that are happening. So we're going to be running through. Basically, his manor is now under siege by the Graven. So Garrett choosing a fantastic time to break in while other people are also trying to break in. That definitely won't cause any problems. But you're going to find that's a very like familiar scenario. Garrett is being in the wrong place at the very wrong time. And of course, we got more lore going on. Do want to mention one of the it's wrong way. It's kind of funny how this game does the jumping. I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, but this game has contextual jumping, so you don't actually jump in the game. You are given a prompt to jump, and that's when you are allowed to do so. So it makes a lot of the movement very wonky. And sometimes you'll like try to do a swoop and instead you'll climb something. You'll be like, no, I didn't want to do that. No.
I mean, that's just how I jump on a normal basis. I don't jump at all until I get a prompt above my head that says press something to jump.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, it does work in some cases. Like it's kind of impressive since it's like the entire map is just laid out for where you can and can't jump. And I'm just thinking the amount of work that must have like cost them in order to do instead of just adding in a dynamic jump feature. Like someone definitely worked hard on it. But now we're getting to a big point of the story. We're going to talk to the Baron. He's going to give us some information, say that there's a secret lab that he has here, which has a piece of the primordial stone that we're searching for, and then he's going to die. So now the Graven have infiltrated the manor, and they still want to kill us, even though we're kind of supposed to be their friend, but not really. But we also learned that they are trying to basically, like, again, use the stone to cure the plague and cause those like demon monsters that we saw earlier in the asylum, and we don't really want that. You know, Garrett is a thief, but he's still a good guy, still has a good heart, and you know, doesn't want people to die. So I'm gonna do another lock here. Again, this level is kind of one of the ones that doesn't really have any special tricks or special level stuff. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Which should be fine. That's also another thing. If you jump off of that railing without hitting anything, you don't take damage. But if you jump off of it and land on that thing that's slightly lower than it and then jump off, you take damage. Because, you know, again, contextual stuff in this game. You get a lot of invulnerability in certain areas like that. Another thing is also, if you are sliding down something, you do not take fall damage whatsoever. That's going to be very important later on. Garrett just becomes straight up immune to gravity.
That seems concerning.
I'm sure it'll be fine. It's definitely not a side effect of any of the spooky stuff going on.
No, probably not. Are we sure this is set in like the time period and not just like a random sci-fi game?
I mean, it could be sci-fi. It just depends on your definition of it. I mean, technically Frankenstein is sci-fi, and I would say it's around the similar times. Also going to be doing some puzzling here. You have to find the right spot that's like making it shake in order to crack the glass so we can get the stone. Don't worry about how long that dirty bandage has been on Garrett's hand. I'm sure he won't get an infection or anything like that. That's going to stay on for the rest of the game, by the way. Even though this is probably like a week after it happened.
Maybe he just likes the design.
Yeah, he's a thief, not a doctor. Doesn't know how to do any of that medical stuff.
It just reminds me of Star Trek. Damn it, Jim, I'm a thief, not a doctor.
Exactly. And of course, you know, Garrett being a thief is very clumsy and kind of just tripped and fell down here. But he's got the stone now, so it's okay. But of course, the general thief taker is going to interrupt us, step on our hand, be kind of rude because again, he keeps on just, you know, after us every single time. You think you'd have more priorities with an uprising in a plague, but he's just really focused on Garrett for whatever reason. So now we're gonna head into the sewers in order to escape. Can't be a video game without a sewers level. This is a very cool action sequence, but it definitely doesn't fit in a game where you're supposed to be a sneaky thief. Because usually when you're a thief, you want to be pretty subtle with your actions. And this entire section is the exact opposite of subtle. We're gonna hit that. That's gonna knock this boat over so we can cross. I have to be really careful here because you can fall off very easily and Garrett can't swim, so it's instant death. And when you're running through here, sometimes those jump prompts do not actually come up in time. So we have to be careful because sometimes you will accidentally die and it's not fun.
So Garrett can't swim, can't jump.
Yeah.
Markings of a good thief.
Exactly. Like, you don't need to jump or swim. Of course not.
No. You just vent.
Exactly. He'd be an amazing Among Us player. Then we're going to come over here, wait for this to collapse. It's going to drop that rope down. We can grab onto it. Again, this is contextual. Yeah, you'll find that I say that a lot when I'm doing runs like this because it's just every single interaction is a contextual thing. You have no control unless the game tells you to do so. And it makes these sections very scary because, again, it is very easy to accidentally press space a little too early and then that's it for you.
So some of this has to be not necessarily frame perfect, but in that realm of frame perfectness.
At the very least, you have to be careful to not accidentally fall off of an edge when you're trying to jump. Because sometimes you'll be mashing space, but you just do it at the wrong rhythm, and then you just fall into the 2 inches of water and you die immediately. Because yeah, it's not even like he drowns like after like a spit of a struggle. It's he literally just dies immediately, and this is one of those areas. So I'm gonna be very careful. There we go. Cool. Didn't die. That would have sucked.
Nice.
You say nice, but I have lost a run there before because I was mastering space and it just didn't work. Yeah, more escaping and all that stuff. Again, very cool scene if it wasn't for the fact that this is a game that's supposed to be about playing a sneaky, subtle thief.
Yeah. Maybe just a, robust thief.
Yeah. Should mention that he's supposed to be a master thief and one of the best of all time. Just want to let you guys know that, even though everything else has been going on.
I mean, everyone has their off days, off weeks.
Maybe off years.
Maybe off years. I mean, that happens, yeah. I mean, you gotta give props to someone who, is a thief trying to rob something and then destroys an entire house or village even.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, the correlation between that. But here we go. We are heading to the last area of the game where we're getting close to the end here. Thankfully, that even though we didn't really have any skips in the level before, we do get a couple of here, including my absolute favorite glitch in the entire game. That is so fun. That's kind of like why I want more people to run this game, because I want more glitch hunters, because there's like so many cool glitches that there has to be more that we're missing, and I want to see all the great possibilities. So we're going to be heading over to confront Orion. He is currently trying to get a giant ship with the primordial energy to go other places. And we do not want that, because then he will turn everybody into those monsters and kind of unleash them onto the world. And that's a bad thing. We don't want that. So we're going to try and do our absolute best to avoid it. We're not stealing anything, which again is kind of one of the issues I have with this game, is you're a thief, but you're never really thieving anything in the main plot outside of like 2 things. But don't worry, we'll try and steal 1 or 2 things along the way.
After all, we are a thief. That's how we, make our job.
Yeah, it wouldn't feel right if we just completely like don't steal stuff.
Yeah.
So we're gonna continue heading on through. Again, we have to watch out for the Graven. This is also one of the areas that I don't really want to be running into people too much, because they can kind of cause problems. We have to run into these guys. Hopefully this dude gets out of my way. Yes, he did. Thank you. Sometimes he blocks me, which is not fun. Then we're gonna drop down. Cool. So we're gonna use a rope arrow and we're gonna shoot it right there. A little spot right here. So this is gonna be the first big glitch that I like to show off. That we haven't really done any in a while, so this should be pretty fun. So we're gonna go over here. We're gonna grab this thing right here.
I do appreciate this comment as that you're still technically a thief, having stolen things, and technically correct is the best kind of correct. And I would agree.
Exactly.
I would agree with that, yeah.
We're going to try that glitch again. This one can be a little bit finicky. It's one of the harder ones in the game. Just for the simple fact that, like, even getting the setup, you're usually having multiple enemies on you. We're actually getting good luck by those 2 guys below us not coming after us, because sometimes they'll come up and interrupt us. So let's try this again. I'm going to drop down right here. There we go. I'm gonna wait for these guys to kind of de-aggro off of us just for a safety thing, but we are now out of bounds. Let's see if they're actually gonna do it. Unfortunately, you can't save while they're on you. Trying to wait for the icon to pop up in the top left of my screen. Come on, you're gonna lose me? You're not gonna lose me. All right, we're just gonna go do it right here. Hopefully it works out. We're gonna walk very carefully down here. There we go. So we're gonna get that slide. So this is very good. Normally you have to do this giant elevator section where you have to, like, watch this entire cutscene, and it's just really boring of doing absolutely nothing. So somebody, I think it was Thanks4, after he saw my last run at the GDQ hotfix, I think it was for Time Capsule, found this glitch, and this glitch is so cool. Because now we get to slide all the way down to the very end. And as you can see, we can just completely avoid, any of this bad stuff happening that we would normally, like, die from fall damage and all that stuff. Because again, you're immortal when you're sliding. We get a little bit of a weird slide here. Come on. There we go. And we're going to drop down here, kind of slide down here, and we are at the very bottom. So this skip saved probably about 2.5 minutes. It is one of the biggest in the entire game, and thank goodness, because it goes from being a really boring section where you're doing absolutely nothing to a really insane, technical, super cool trick.
And all because you showed this game off on a hotfix channel.
Yeah. That definitely helped out. So I want to give a shout out to GDQ for having me on here multiple times. It's always fun to do hotfix shows. All the guys and girls are great. So it's really cool to be, like, showing off this game again, especially with the new stuff that's going on, because a lot of people haven't seen this stuff. Also going to be dropping a flash bomb right here. That's going to kill these guys. Going to turn on this light because, again, they don't like it. And then we can use that to open this up. So we're going to be getting our first boss fight. It can be actually kind of difficult, but we're going to be going against the General Thief Taker. And you kind of have 2 options. You can either, when you're doing this casually, you can kill him or you can kind of just be a thief and escape. And we're actually going to do the faster way, which is be a thief and escape, hopefully. He could be a little bit annoying, so we will have to be a bit careful because bad things can happen. Also have to watch out for that jump because sometimes you don't get the interaction prompt and you die right there, which isn't fun. But yeah, so hopefully everything should work out.
So when you go up and say you're the first big boss fight, are you talking about the first boss fight of the run or the first boss fight of the game?
This is pretty much the only boss fight in the entire game.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
There's kind of, I guess, the second boss fight at the very end when we're like fighting with Aaron, but I really don't exactly count that as one.
Also, I saw a fantastic comment that makes this perfect sense as to why we speedrun Thief. We may not be stealing a lot of stuff normally that you would casually, but we are stealing frames.
That is true. I like that. I'm going to use that from now on.
I really like that comment.
The run's trying to be a thief of our time, and we got to take it back.
There we go.
So we're going to run past these guys. So this boss fight is basically going to be us being a thief and trying to get around and avoid him as much as possible. So we're going to climb up here. Yeah, this fight can be a little bit difficult because a lot can go wrong, but hopefully we'll be okay. We are going to get some more lore stuff right here.
I also like the comment that...
Yeah,
sorry,
spooky stuff going on.
Oh, okay.
But feel free to read that comment, sorry.
Yeah, I saw the chat comment that said, be a thief in a Thief game? Kind of bold. I like it.
Exactly.
It's true. Yeah. Bold strategy.
So we're going to get another piece of the stone. This should be, I think, the last one to assemble it completely together. Then we're going to come over here. As you can see, they're trying to do some weird culty stuff with Aaron, and that's Orion. We haven't seen him in the game just yet. And yeah, this could be the boss fight. It could be a stage play. It definitely could be.
Yeah.
So this is the thief fight. What we're going to do right here. I might have done that in the wrong order, but I think we should be okay. So we need to turn these two valves. Gonna head over here. So we're turning these two valves. That's going to open up this doorway, and then we need to pick the lock. So what we're going to do here is we're going to hit that. That's going to extinguish the flames, and we can do this in the dark. And now we're going to do some lock picking. So this is like the biggest part of the upgrade that we get is unlocking that. And now we can just leave, and I'm sure he'll be fine. You know, he's definitely nothing bad's going to happen to him over there.
No, not at all. Why would it?
Yeah. Garrett also gives a pretty fun one-liner here if you have the voice on. Unfortunately, we do not, so we don't get to hear it. But, you know, just means for your casual playthrough, you get to experience it yourself for the first time.
Just hinting at what it's like to play the game casually. I like it.
Exactly.
I like it.
So we are now in the end game area. Those spooky enemies are back. And they're going to be trying to cause some problems. So we're going to try and avoid them as much as we can. Alert that guy off. We did get hit there. That's all right. Throw down a flash bomb.
One could say almost that they are blinded by the light.
That's pretty good. Got another little lockpick puzzle right here. So we're heading over onto Orion's boat, and this is kind of his thing that he's been trying to get to and build and all that stuff. It's basically like the Ark. We're gonna have to get onto it and stop him because he has Aaron, and Aaron is our friend. And even though, you know, we fought at the very beginning and had our arguments and our differences, you know, we're still thieves. And at the end of the day, you know, thieves have to look out for each other, even though Garrett doesn't do much thieving. Exactly.
Yeah.
Have a look.
Also gonna buy some resources here. Gonna buy some healing, gonna buy some flash bombs, and I think we should be good otherwise.
I always enjoy when, like in these type of situations, there's the person there, the merchant. They're just always in the most random places, and I'm just like, are you just chilling, waiting for this type of situation to come by?
Yeah, especially like holding on specifically to like a thieves kit, especially since the arrows are like with like your own custom like bow. It's really convenient though. I mean, it's very helpful, especially at the end here. So we're gonna be navigating this boat to get to the end. Erin is definitely not going to be at a good spot. She's going to be kind of corrupted by the stone, and also she has been experimented on, so she's not really in a great mood. So basically, we're going to be fighting her at the very end, and that's going to be kind of a not hardish boss fight, but it's hard to do quickly. This is also going to be the only time in the entire game that we're actually going to use one of our arrows to actually kill someone. Every other time, it's like used as a utility thing. And the only reason we can do it on that guy right there isn't because I dislike him or anything. It's for the simple fact that he will be blocking us in that little area if we do not kill him.
It's also worth noting that you shot directly at his head, and then the bow went through his head sideways. Like, that's some extreme. Like,
wait, really? I didn't even notice that.
Yes.
That's great. Thankfully, this guy, he would block us, but we're going to shoot an arrow right there, so we don't need to kill him. But yeah, we shoot that arrow just to get rid of him, and then once we cut this upcoming wire, that should be like the last time that we really have to interact with any of these bad guys. We'll find some more later on, but that should be the last dude that's going to be trying to kill us, which is really nice, because dudes trying to kill us isn't that fun.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
Yeah, in this cutscene, you can kind of tell that they made the CG cutscenes before they finished doing the game, because especially in this area, when they're stitched together with the gameplay, they don't really make sense. But the basics of that is Orion died and Erin is currently missing, so we need to go follow her. And she's kind of like frozen everything in time, or at least like got everyone stuck in this alternate dimension and all that jazz. The story is kind of a little messy, I'll admit. But basically, this is a stealth section, and one of the only major RNG things where we need to sneak up on her, and she could be in like, I think 2 or 3 different spots. And depending on the spot that she is in, which looks like we got good RNG, you can lose some decent time. But we're gonna sneak up on her. Hi, Erin, how you doing? Having a good day so far? Enjoying the event? No? Okay. So we learn here that Erin is actually able to turn people into those monsters by just touching them. And this is supposed to be a super stealthy section. We're just gonna, not do that. And there we go. That was the stealth section. We got one more. So this is the final boss fight. We need to gather the 3 pieces of the primordial stone. Once again, we keep on losing the pieces. I don't know how Garrett does that. It's kind of embarrassing, but we need to avoid getting hit by her light attack, so we can kind of hide between these like little poles in an area like that. I'm gonna take the safety strat right here of letting her first attack go through. Normally you're supposed to tank this with healing items. However, I wanted to be safe, and you can die from that very easily, so I'll take the slight time loss. And then we have one more stone, and we should be coming up on time here pretty soon. We just need to use the powers to save Erin from her weird state. Again, I don't know. The story for this game is a little out there, but we're going to be basically using it to kind of cure Erin of whatever's corrupting her. But time is going to stop when we interact with Erin here, so we'll get ready on that. And time.
Nice. GG.
Thank you very much. Can I ask what my time ended up being?
Give me a minute to have it go through. I think it's 1:20:17.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah,
and then you get
1:20:17.
Yeah. And then you get this little ending scene. I don't know how we ended up from us being like inside an area and her being like right in front of us on the ground, perfectly safe, to that wall opening up and now she is falling to her death. If someone would like to explain to me how we jumped from point A to point B, that would be great. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been really good. I appreciate the opportunity to showcase this game for Bargain Bin.
Of course. Is there any, for those that were interested and they're like, ooh, this could be a really fun game, or like to learn, or the glitch hunters who want to maybe get more involved with the community so they know more about the game, more kind of inner workings, where would individuals go for all of that?
Yeah, so the best place to go is speedrun.com. That's where all the main leaderboards are set up for not only this game, but for the rest of the series. So if you're interested in the other games, which are also very technical and very cool, you can go to any of the Thief games on speedrun.com, and they will have a link to the Discord. The Discord has channels for Thief 1, Thief 2, Thief 3, and of course, the Thief 4 or the Thief Remake. So that's going to be the best place to do it. You can contact me as well if you have any questions. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Yeah, that's going to be your best resource, though. There's a lot of guides up there for the older games, and of course, if you have any questions or want to learn this game, I'll happily send a Discord call with you and go over everything. If you want to find more, I also do games like this one. I still do Thief, but I also do some really cool runs like Mass Effect 2 and Control over at my own channel. You can follow me at twitch.tv/demonicrobots.
There's also a game you used to run that was really fun as well.
Yes, a run that Midnight Vesper, he did very recently, only about 7 or 8 years ago.
Only recently.
That we both run. Yeah, only recently, but also Advent Rising. So sometimes you'll see some of those older games on there as well, kind of just sprinkled in there for a little bit of flavor.
And apparently my run is so old, it's like crash flashed or something.
Yeah. If you want to go check out his run, unfortunately you can't, because unfortunately Adobe Flash Player is not a thing anymore, and his link is kind of broken.
But yeah, speaking of that, where would individuals want to go to follow you? I think you just said it a second ago, but just to reiterate.
Yeah, sure. Again, if you want to follow me, you can follow me at twitch.tv/demonicrobots, all one word.
And finally, any other shout outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to YBibU. He is one of the only other runners for this game, has world record, really cool guy. I want to give a shout out to J-Rude, who was going to be here. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it, but he is one of the main guys for Thief the Dark Project and Thief 2. He's really cool guy, and the same thing with Psychosis. Both of them are unfortunately weren't able to make it. I was gonna have them be commentators, but they're mainly gonna be doing Thief Dark Project and Thief 2. I think they've actually done a couple of runs for GDQ, but really cool guys. And yeah. Also, thanks for who has found the elevator skip on chapter 7, because thank goodness I was so bored. I hated that spot. It was like literally just 3 minutes of sitting around, and he solved that. So I think that's gonna be all my shout outs. I'll pass it over to you. Just once again, thank you for having me on, and I hope the rest of your guys' day goes well.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Demonic. It was such a great run to watch. But do not worry, because we have some more great runs coming up as the evening progresses. Coming up next is going to be Rayman Legends. While we get that set up, this is now a good time to get up, stretch, do all of that fun stuff while we get everything set for Rayman Legends coming up. Also, real fast, do not forget, if you're watching us on YouTube, hello, YouTube. Be sure to press the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, head on over to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick if you're interested in looking at a live content starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. Once again, we'll be right back with Rayman Legends. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to the Bargain Bin. I'm still Midnight Vesper, and we got a couple of announcements real fast. Do not forget the volunteer submissions for Awesome Games Done Quick are closed, but the final schedule for the event is in fact live. You can find it at gamesdonequick.com/schedule. And speaking of submissions and volunteers and game submissions and all of that, do not forget that the game and volunteer submissions for Frost Fatales 2023 are open now until November 26th, which is a couple of days left. You can head on over to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales or the Games Done Quick Twitter to submit your games and volunteer applications. So we have now this amazing run coming up next with Rayman Legends with Depressing. I cannot wait for this run. How are you doing, Depressing?
I'm doing great,
Good.
Vesper. Thank you. And I got my co-commentator here, Crusader, that's going to help out.
We're about to make this interesting.
Yep. So I'm actually starting here on the screen where we usually start all the runs. Instead of last time when I was here at SGDQ 2020, I started on the title screen and played the main cutscene. That's because we have a little bit less time than usual. So that's why yeah. I'll be starting the run in 3, 2, 1, go.
There we go. So we go ahead and just save our poor little heroes from getting slapped by Murphy. And we want to go ahead and do that because we're going to go ahead and do something a little different. So
hold on.
we're going to go ahead and... Oh, would you look at that?
Hang on.
You want to explain what just happened?
Hello? Okay. Something happened on my end. Like, as soon as I tried starting the run, the audio broke. I have to close out of the game.
Huh. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about this.
This
happened out of nowhere.
It's all good. It happens.
Yep. Oh, wait. I wasn't. Wrong button.
In the meantime, while we get all this taken care of, just a quick reminder that your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on the Games Done Quick Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick, both with hotfix and with awesome Games Done Quick 2023 costs. So please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily GDQ content. And once again, that starts weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. And do not forget that tomorrow, we're going to have Game Mastered followed by Time Capsule again, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern.
All right. So we're back here. Before I start, I got to set my second player controls since this is very important for the run. This saves like over a minute, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now we're ready to start again. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo! There we go.
Yeah, this is Rayman Legends. Once again, I did this at SGDQ 2020. Back then, I had very, very bad internet. It was satellite internet. Basically, I had 600 millisecond ping. Not good.
We're going to be a small bit behind on the commentary. I'm going to be looking at it on my phone.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'll get that to you once I finish the first level.
But yeah, just as a general note, he is going to be going ahead and switching to the almighty Glowbox. So the one cool thing about Glowbox is that his hitbox is relatively different from some of the other characters. So the cool thing is that his back kick can pretty much just go through walls. I don't know why they just can. So yeah, we want to use Glowbox for a good chunk of this run. And right about here, we're going to be utilizing sort of a death abuse in a sense, to where we see Depressing actually clip through that little platform, grab one of the teensies, and then restart from the nearest checkpoint. So there you go. So we get to see a bit more of the tech, where what he did was a YBY up. That allows him to get a bit more height so he can make that jump and skip having to use Murphy, who is, I hate to say it, Murphy is not what I would say is the best part about this game, since a lot of Murphy's utilization is just to be this one helper that moves these platforms and allows you to get to places you couldn't. But the interesting thing is that this was supposed to be a Wii U exclusive, to where you'd control Murphy with a touchpad, but I guess they realized that the Wii U was unfortunately a failing console. So what they ended up doing was that they mapped Murphy to a singular button, which...
Oop, I'm going to stop you right there.
What?
This is like the worst thing to happen. My game froze.
Oh no, dude.
No.
The game crashed.
I think it has... Okay, I think it might be.
I started
just like,
streaming on Discord, and my
Okay.
goodness,
Here,
this is just not my day.
That's okay. So we'll forego the Discord, and I'll get another link out for.
Oh yeah, I have a. Yeah, I just saw the link that you sent out.
Yeah.
Don't worry about streaming it, but I
Okay.
can see it perfectly fine. Thank you, Vesper. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Start new. I don't know if my teensy's saved. Actually, I can check.
If they did, that's all the better.
They did. Okay, we're starting from
Hey,
here.
all right.
Sweet. And we're back on
So
the road.
you can continue the timer.
I am already having so much fun with this. Okay. I am not sure where I got cut off. Oh yeah, having just a nice little rant about Murphy. I'm essentially done with ranting about the utilization of Murphy because we should probably get into what the goals of the any percent run are. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Rayman Legends, you'll notice that he's been rescuing these little sort of like these blue reskins of Big Nose from Pink Panther. They're called Teensies. So we're going to be rescuing 260 of them so we can unlock one more painting so that we can have access to the final boss. And there are multiple ways we can get these Teensies. We can either get them by breaking the cages you see throughout the levels. There's little secret bonus rooms with these royally themed Teensies that are like kings and queens. And there's other ways you can get them as well, but aside from that, there's also the inclusion of LUM routing, and thankfully it's not as bad as it is in Origins, to where all the levels pretty much had some form of LUM routing. In this game, there's really only 10 levels that have LUM routing, with the exception of the boss levels where we'll be getting these lucky tickets by collecting a specified amount of LUMs. For the normal levels that'll have the standard 10 teensies, it's only 450 you need. And in the boss levels, you only need 75. And I think it's fairly obvious to see why we would want to utilize getting the lucky tickets in these boss levels, because it's hilarious how easy you can get LUMs in this game. You can sneeze and get LUMs. It's so simple. But we also want to keep in mind, we want to collect as few LUMs as possible for the levels that we don't actually have LUMs routed for, because you see that there's this loading screen where we get to count all the LUMs we collected in a level. If we don't have a level where there's a lucky ticket, we don't want LUMs. So we'll have a few instances where we'll be collecting LUMs later on, but aside from what I just mentioned, that's really the aim of any percent. But you'll be noticing a lot of tech. One of the most common ones that we'll see is called a YBY. And it's fairly simple. All you do is press Y, B, and Y. That's it. But aside from namesake, what this allows you to do is whenever you see Depressing do those running spin attacks on the ground, you'll notice he has a lot of speed for a split second and then it goes away. And when we do these YBYs, we essentially do this running spin attack, jump in the air, and press the attack button at the exact same time. This will allow us to keep the exact same speed we have when we do these running spin attacks. And the best part is that we can chain these together, and there's a really low cooldown timer, so we can just chain these together over and over and over again. And my lord, he's almost done with this level.
Wow.
I didn't even realize how fast he would go through this.
Yeah, this level is one of the shortest in the game. So.
Enchanted Forest is a hilariously short level, but there's additional tech that we'll see, like YBY ups. We would have to go back in time a little bit to sort of talk about it. In the first level, we saw Depressing do this little ground pound and an attack in the air, where he was able to skip this little spinning wheel section that I mentioned earlier. And the cool thing is that allows you to get a bit of extra height. We'll see a bit more utilization of it, but it's not as common as the YBYs. But there is one more piece of tech that I must mention that is the most instrumental part of this game: break boosting. What this does, this basically allows whichever hero you're playing, in this case Glowbox, to pretty much achieve maximum speed by doing, as the name suggests, braking and then getting a large boost from it. But the way you set it up is really fast. You'll have to stop yourself, run in place, and then you have to do the running spin attack, slide, and you kind of just get a big boost of speed. But the catch is that you can't hold the joystick forward, and there's a certain time you have to hold it in order for you to achieve top speed. And there's also another variation of this, which is co-op boosting, where you get to utilize this with another player, which is why we needed to bind a second player, and we'll see him utilize this. And the first instance we'll see this is in the level Quicksands. And there is one more type of brake boosting that I wanted to save to let Depressing mention, because I know you wanted to talk about this more than I did. So I'll let you talk about it for some of the invasion tech that has recently been discovered.
So yeah, it's called a PR boost. The PR meaning punch roll. Basically, you do a brake boost. But hang on, I screwed that up a little bit. So the PR part of it is at the first frame you start seeing that braking animation. You do a standing, like a regular punch, and you roll right after it. It actually gives you more speed than the brake boost. But recently we found a different variation of it called the walking PR boost. That allows you to get max speed, which is 20 meters per second. This doesn't require a second player, which co-op boosting was the only way to achieve max speed from a standstill. But now with this, this trick is super hard. I can barely do it. It's the same thing, but you gotta press right when doing that punch, or left, whichever way you're trying to go. And then you have to immediately press down and the opposite direction you're going. Because with that walking punch, it's harder to cancel. This trick is impossible to do on a D-pad. You have to do it on a joystick.
And rip any person who decided to transfer Rayman Legends onto their Nintendo DS. Guess I can't do that now. But
I'll try to.
Even just listening to that, for a tad bit of context, I speedrun Origins a bit more than Legends, but it utilizes pretty much the same game engine to develop both of these games. Just one of them has a more polished look to it. And the same tech is in Origins, it's just performed slightly differently, but even with what Depressing has said, I can barely wrap my head around it.
That's a lot of tech.
Mm-hmm.
This game is very, very tech heavy.
It's insane how much tech there is in the game, but it's good that a majority of it doesn't really take a lot of time to learn. Like, the YBYs are relatively simple to get down. They're by far the easiest thing to do. Brake boosting on paper sounds really difficult, but after a while, you'll be able to get it. Because the cool thing with brake boosting is that, I'm not sure how this is in Legends, but I know in Origins it's fairly lenient with how quickly you perform the button inputs, because dependent on when you do it, if you're close to the correct timing, you'll be able to, like, still get a fairly decent boost of speed off of it, but not top speed. I'm not sure if it's finicky or not, because I know in Origins it's really not. Oh my lord.
I'm gonna pause right here because I know I had to quit out of the game. My player 2 controls got reset. This is faster, by the way.
He's got to speed run it.
Remember, this saves a minute, and like these 10-15 seconds are nothing.
What is that control scheme? I noticed like periods, commas, and slashes.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
There we go. We get a bit of a co-op boost.
Boosting. Skips that entire tower section that normally just falls right on top of you.
And also, I'm not sure if you noticed that. Actually, no, you had to have noticed that. It's hilarious. You'll notice that Glowbox was kind of just crouching in midair. I don't know what power allows him to do that. I'm just gonna say game physics. But the only thing I can assume that happens is that the game just kind of assumes that you're on solid ground during this and just tells the game that the hero is on solid ground. So if you just press it down right when that cutscene starts where the 8th Teensy is able to free themselves from the little Willy Wonka looking contraption that he's driving, Globox kind of just crouches in midair, and it's really goofy.
It looks like it's like got like squished like an accordion there.
Oh yeah, no. That's literally what I think it is. It legit just looks like an accordion crouch in a sense.
Yes.
But oh, there we go. Right there, we got to see another instance of utilizing the YVY up to skip that right side of that little bonus room. And to mention those bonus rooms, they take forever. There are some that take like eternities. They require like the SpongeBob Eternity time cards to finish on time. But we try and find the fastest ones, and most of the time we just don't really even care about utilizing those King and Queen bonus rooms, because throughout the run we're going to be going through these different levels that are a lot more unique compared to the base game, and they're called the invasion levels. And thank Jesus we do not have to do any of the Dark Rayman invaded levels, because those are some of the most brutally difficult levels in Rayman Legends. But the cool thing about the invasion levels is that they all have a sort of theme to them. They're unlocked by story progress, and you'll get some of them based on which boss you defeated. Like if you defeat the Armored Toad and Toad story, you'll get all the invasion levels that are Toad themed, and they're not all unlocked for one world. They'll have certain themes that are unlocked in different worlds, so you could get like the Toad theme in the Olympus Maximus world just by beating the Armored Toad, even though at that point in the game you probably won't even have Olympus Maximus unlocked in your first playthrough. But yeah, you just kind of get it. And
well, there are teensy requirements for them.
That is true. I almost forgot to mention that. Thank you for catching me on that. But we're driving in extremely close to our first boss of the game, but we get a small taste of these little mini-boss chase sequences that we'll be seeing throughout the game, because there's 5 of these mini-boss sequences that we'll get to do through all 5 worlds, and then there's a boss at the end of it. So I am excited to see this first boss, because there's a lot of cool tech regarding the dragon boss in Teensy's in Trouble. So, Depressing, I'm not sure if you want any serious time for this boss. Do you, or nah?
Nah, just keep it going.
Okay. So, there isn't really going to be much going on until after phase 1. That's really eye-catching, to say the least. So we're just gonna go ahead and try and absolutely demolish the first phase of this boss, which should really just be no problem for Depressing. And we can actually speed up this cutscene a bit by restarting from the nearest checkpoint, and it'll immediately start phase 1 instead of us having to wait for the slow buildup of the dragon slowly descending in front of the player. But you can see how difficult this boss truly is. Depressing is really putting his heart and soul into trying to dodge the boss's attacks. And there we go, just like that, we're already done with phase 1. You know, that kind of reminds me of like wave dashing in Smash Melee a bit. I got vibes for that.
All right, here's the thing.
Right here, you'll notice, look at that. We skipped phase 2 of the boss, restart from the nearest checkpoint, and immediately start phase 3. And
This is a very well-made video game.
it is. No bugs, no bugs. But those restart sequences, especially for this boss in particular, makes the biggest impact for how the boss really plays out. And we'll get to see a few more examples with some of the upcoming bosses, but we won't really be seeing any of those restart sequences, we'll see something really odd and interesting with the armored toad. Oh no!
I jumped way too early.
Nah, don't sweat it. You just showed off a really freaking cool strat. I think you deserve leeway for that.
Something like that was bound to happen.
But aside from that, there really isn't much else to mention about the boss. Because,
Still breathes fire at us.
Yeah, no, it still desperately tries to breathe fire. A funny note is that when you play through this game a second time, and just sort of know the boss patterns, it's really, really hilarious just to see what the bosses will end up doing for their scripted patterns, because all of it is scripted to a certain thing with the exclusion of some attacks that'll be seen through later boss fights. But it's interesting to see what some bosses will think is the best course of action for attacking you when you're in the complete opposite direction of them. But there we go. That is already World 1 done, and we get to see what'll happen to these dark teensies when you send them flying off into space. They're left to be tortured by these weird alien things. I'm not even sure what they are. They just kind of looks like they're sent to a demon planet almost. Here we go. We get to see another co-op boost right here. There we go.
That is just wow.
It's incredible just how in-depth this tech is, and just even more incredible how consistent depressing it is at all of this.
Funny thing,
go ahead.
I haven't been playing this game in like a year and a half or so, so I'm actually really rusty.
And he calls this rusty.
Yeah. It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, no, he's cleaving through these levels like a hot knife on butter. I don't know how to say that without sounding like something my parents would say for some random comparison to something. But we get to see all the cool little themes as we go through. And throughout these levels, there aren't really going to be anything too different from the generic formula we've had from the similar levels in Teen Season Trouble. And the only other thing worth mentioning that I kind of forgot to mention was the lucky tickets that we pick up through these lum routes. And I didn't really mention why we get those, because there's a few reasons we get them. One, it gives us a teensy that we can collect for the run, which is always nice to have additional teensies. Second off, and most importantly, we actually unlock 2 levels that we get to play through that are relatively quick. And those 2 levels are 1-1 and 2-1 of the Back to Origin stages, which are these revamped versions of the Rayman Origin stages. And if anybody has played through Rayman Origins and played through the Back to Origin stages on Rayman Legends, there are actually some pretty noticeable differences. For one, the levels in Rayman Legends are toned down to be a lot easier than the ones in Origins, because I swear they had like these spike traps, spike balls, and everything in Rayman Origins just littered through the stages. And you can tell they really put their eyes into more of focusing on fair level design for when they did these Back to Origins reboots. But we will purposely go to get through 1-1 and 2-1 for these Back to Origin stages, because they act relatively similar to these stages here that we're playing through right now. They have the standard 10 teensies and nothing more to add. And I cannot believe I forgot to mention that tech he just did. You'll notice he actually was able to wall jump upwards off of the same wall. So there's nothing special for the name of that. That's just referred to as the infinite wall jump. And yeah, it's very clever naming, I know. But the cool thing is that not only does this act as a great time-saving tool, but this is a wonderful tool for recovering if there's ever a time where you're about to fall into a pit and there's a wall where you can just recover and you can just utilize the wall to just save yourself. And I cannot tell you from my experiences in Origins and a bit of Legends, just how instrumental that infinite wall jump was to save me from some weird mistake that I made.
I did
just
see
noticed
something. Okay, go ahead.
I just noticed the chat talking about the pain of Origins. So I'm not alone. But go ahead, Vesper.
Yeah, no, speaking of chat, I did see a question in chat that I think you addressed, but if not, go ahead. Is there a reason why we're using Glowbox, or is it just for the preference of the run?
Oh, yes, it is.
He is so much faster.
So,
Glowbox is broken.
Yeah, no, he's
basically, his back kicks go through walls. And another specific reason, I'm not going to spoil it, you'll see it at the World 4 boss, is another reason he is incredibly broken, and a reason why we're using a second player. So, those are the main two reasons. And yeah, his hitboxes are just larger, which makes him easier to play as well.
We'll get to see a lot more examples of him utilizing that broken hitbox of Glowbox. And there will be some specific instances that I can point out, or Depressing can point out if he would like to, where we'll get to see just the sheer power of Glowbox's back kick, because it can literally go through walls. I am not even kidding when I say it can go through walls, because there are some very, very beautiful time saves that you can get just for playing as our lovely little frog fellow. But I do notice another question in the chat, but I would like Depressing to be a part of this one.
Uh-oh.
So there is a question that says, which character has the best aesthetic?
Best aesthetic?
Yes. Which character has the best design?
Like, are you talking character skins?
I would just
Because
say...
if you were, I'd probably say the Flaming Teensy.
Oh, yeah. Wait, that was in Origins.
It is? Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's the guy that does the treasure levels locked.
Oh, yeah. But, personally, I have always been a big fan of the Teensies, even though they're, in my opinion, objectively the worst character to play as. I think they have the smallest hitbox out of all four hero types, because they don't reserve it for both variants of the Teensies you saw at the start of the game with the Teensy Goth and Grand Minimus. They actually have another character that we won't even really see until the end of the run, which is Barbara. And that's kind of referred as the Princess Hero, which the only reason we refer to it as that instead of just the Barbara is because there are different princesses that we can rescue throughout the game. There's 10 total, and we're only going to be rescuing one because we are such kind people.
Yes, we are.
But
Also, not just skins, but also vibes. I'd probably say Teensies as well. The Teensies were such a weird set of characters back in Rayman 2. Like they could. Oh gosh, I missed the Teensy. I overshot it.
Oh no.
I laughed
Okay,
so
we're
hard
good.
that I whipped the earbud out of my ear. But I did notice another
the Teensies
question
in Rayman
regarding
2 were-
characters.
Sorry.
And I did not mean to cut you off, Depressing. You go ahead.
You're fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so I did notice, does every skin of Glowbox work, or is it just Sir Globrax? It is actually not only to Sir Globrax, because I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret, chat. We originally were going to utilize a glitch that Depressing and I just found while we were doing a practice run. And that is if you were to complete just a standard playthrough and beat the Cloud of Darkness at the end of the game, and then quit out. Normally, when you complete the game, you will get a reward of 10,000 lums for defeating the final boss. But if you quit out before you get the reward, start a new profile, those 10,000 lums will actually be transferred to your new profile, and you'll automatically be taken to that character unlock screen, and you'll get to see all of the little characters that you get to unlock. And we were originally going to play as Red Glowbox for the run, just because usually Sir Globrex is the fastest choice to utilize as character selection, but Red Globox is a fun character. There's some interesting lore behind the red variant of Globox.
Yeah, it's actually Globox's original color. But, and I quote, due to a mishap involving berry picking and bees, he turned blue.
Huh.
We don't know how it happened. It just did. That's the best way to put it. But I will say, I do have to give props to the princess designs in general, because even though we don't really get to see any of the princesses aside from Aurora at the end of the run, I gotta say there are some really, really nice designs. And the fact that they all have some variant of weapon for whatever world they're in, like the ones in Teensies in Trouble, they'll have like I guess the double-sided axe they'll have, yeah. In World 2, and I think as well as World 5, they'll have like this weird sword spear in a sense. I can't really find a way to describe it. World 3, there'll be like this kind of cool looking spiky skull axe. And in World 4, they'll get a trident and have sort of like the secret agent vibe to them. But I'm not gonna lie, they had some really creative designs for the princesses. But I just wanted to mention that because we don't really get to see it. So, not really else much to mention about sort of like the character design, because I kind of had my little spiel about that.
Also, that level, When Toads Fly, is also a very, very fast level.
Mm-hmm.
And I screwed up a little bit. I missed one of the teensies and had to go slightly back for it. Also, this is the second boss. We're already here.
Yup, we have already made it to the second boss. This boss.
I get a few lums.
We are going to have a lot of fun with this boss. So,
Yes, we are.
I'm just gonna be quiet and let y'all watch.
Did you know there used to be a boss here?
What?
Yeah.
Okay. We got it.
There you go. So, just from that, just flying up off the screen allows you to literally skip the entirety of the Armored Toad boss fight. And I don't know how they missed it.
Wow.
But yeah, I wanted to at least save that because I personally, from speedrunning Origins, I am very jealous that Legends has this incredible boss tech when really there isn't much you can abuse in Origins. As you get all these cool strats for pretty much every single boss with the exception of the Luchador. But, oh, here we go. We're getting our first invasion level. So, I'm not sure how y'all feel about the invasion levels for anyone who's familiar with Rayman Legends, but I can tell you that when I was 9-year-old Coopsator, I swear these were the bane of my existence. I hated these levels so much. But to
I
spite
used to be
my,
somewhat decent at this invasion.
you know, it is very, very easy to screw up in these invasions, but what a solid performance from Depressing with a 22-16.
I died.
Yeah, no, you just gotta drag yourself down, no point. But
Also,
But I got awesomeness level 2.
go ahead. I know there was someone who wanted to say something. Was that you, Vesper?
yeah, I was gonna say, I just wanted to point out that after Chat saw the last boss and he just went over and skipped it, Chat just spammed what? Huh? What? Huh?
Huh? What?
Oh,
How'd
yeah.
that happen?
Why you just go through the boss when you can go over them?
Exactly.
But I'm just gonna give a shout out to a few invasion levels in particular that were absolutely horrifying for my 9-year-old self. So I'm not sure if Chat has any levels that gave them trouble, but I can guarantee you that at least a few of y'all are either going to mention Infiltration Station Invaded, or What the Duck, or Hell Breaks Loose, because all three of them involve our fun little buddy Dark Rayman. And thank God we don't have to deal with those. I know I mentioned that before at the beginning of the stream, but man, I am so glad we don't have to deal with that. And I'm gonna cut myself off because we got a little example of how broken Globox's hitbox is, where he literally just kicks through the wall and tips the entire maze section. And that is one of my personal favorite instances of it. We'll get to see another funny one in World 5 while we're going through on our first little stretch. But I should have mentioned why we went to World 5 instead of immediately going to Fiesta de los Muertos. So the idea is that we want to go here to go ahead and collect some teensies, because we won't be able to unlock the World 4 boss painting unless we were to get some teensies from here. So we take one quick stop through this little area of Olympus Maximus, and we'll get to see a little cool tech with this section right here, which was another noticeable thing where you would actually have to stand under the shield, but we get to utilize a bit of cool tech where we can completely outrun Zeus's hand, which is supposed to be tied directly onto the player. And he rescues the 8th teensy, but not the 7th one. But the game still acts like he did pick up the 7th teensy. That is because Zeus's lightning bolt actually did the dirty work for us. So shoutouts to Zeus for pretty much helping us with the speedrun.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, another piece of cool tech that I didn't get to mention is shield boosting. Basically, you saw me riding on those shields and then getting a large speed boost off of them. That's because if you jump off of them while they're moving, it keeps your momentum, allowing for some awesome speed conservation throughout the whole thing. Also, talking about speed conservation, I'm doing that with roll jumps. Basically, you hold down when you touch the ground and you roll, and you just jump right after. It keeps all your speed. Well, almost all your speed. You lose very minimal amounts when you do it.
Let's just say
It's
that
the most consistent way to do it, but there is a faster way called frame spinning, and you have to, and the way you do that is you have to spin the first frame you land on the ground. Challenge runners do that. I don't see it very much in Invasions because I don't know why. But yeah, people on like land speeds, like the Land of the Living Dead, there's the time attack challenges. People do that and get like, I don't know, 9, or not 9 seconds, like 12-second times or something, 13 seconds. Pretty crazy.
How many of these levels? Okay.
What?
How many of these levels have like pop culture references?
Oh boy.
Quite a few.
There's quite a few.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a nice view that we get to see throughout the game as it goes on. But man, if we were to get into the music levels, we'd be here all day.
Right. Those are a different thing in themselves.
Oh yeah, no, that's why we'd be here all day.
I think there's only a couple that are unique.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, we could just mention which songs they're based off of. I only know like 2, unfortunately. So the first one, Castle Rock, is a rip of Black Betty, I believe it's called. And the third one in Fiesta de los Muertos, called Mariachi Madness, is a rip of Eye of the Tiger.
Which is extremely interesting.
That is, yeah.
And we get a bit of there isn't really like a direct rip of orchestral chaos in World 2, but really there is a big inspiration for it. Just all forms of classical music by most of the classical artists that we know of. Also, we get another bit of actual proof that Globox's back kick can go through walls. I wasn't lying.
How did I live?
What?
Yeah.
Okay, now I die. That's fine.
I can sort of explain how that works as a gameplay perspective. because you saw that Depressing actually took a hit between that little vertical hallway of spikes, but somehow managed to live even though he had 1 heart. So the idea is that there's actually a small cooldown timer that sort of runs in the background, so that the character doesn't. So it's meant to allow the player to not really get stun locked by things, but we still get stun locked by things all the time. So it's not really much point to that. But essentially, it allows us to utilize that cooldown timer a bit to do some damage boosts, to where we would have to go back in time again for me to give a proper explanation. In one of the levels in World 2, Depressing actually got a boost off of a spiny vine off to the side and was able to get on top of one of the trees. But you'll notice he actually hit it twice while he only had 1 heart on him, and was still able to live from that. That's just because of the cooldown timer that sort of exists in the background. But also, I'm gonna give a humongous shout out to all of the poor souls who had no idea where any of the teensies were in this level their first time through. Because I can guarantee you, the first time I went through this level, I was literally just like sweating bullets trying to figure out, okay, I've been in this room before. I need to figure out where all these other teensies are. And it's just hilarious watching Depressing just burst through all of this and just make my 9-year-old self cry in the background.
Also, I appreciate chat just basically putting the entire lyrics to Black Betty in chat.
Wait.
Yeah, there we go.
Last one for the memory books.
Also, another piece of tech that I want to mention is called flops. Basically, it's a YBY, but you do it down. And what it does is a kind of ground pound type thing, and it works a bit differently than the regular ground pounds. So basically, if you do a quote-unquote flop off a ledge, you'll do kind of an angled ground pound, but it's a bit slow. And if you do them into those turnips you see all over the place, then you'll actually keep your momentum from hitting it. Also, I might die, never mind.
Oh yeah, there you go, come on. Nice. And you'll notice that we also got a bit more of that funny cooldown timer of being able to just take more damage than you have HP and still live to tell the tale.
Now, for those that
Also,
maybe
that was an
haven't,
insanely fast break boost.
Oh yeah, thank you for pointing that out. I was busy getting distracted by chat.
easily done.
But I was reading through chat. We have a song request for Castle Rock Depressing.
Do we have time? Maybe.
Maybe. I doubt we have time. This is a. You see, I would love to sing along to the lyrics of Castle Rock, but it would literally just be me sounding like a gremlin in the mic, just going. And I'm just not going to do that in the mic for a minute flat.
It did sound
I'm sure
good,
some
though.
people in chat will. Yeah.
Thank you. I have a brilliant singing voice. But we are finally in my opinion, the best world in the game. I love this world with all of my soul. The food worlds in the Rayman games have always been incredibly creative. Because in Origins, there was just like this ice theme to where on the surface, it was just like the standard ice world with frozen foods and whatnot, sort of having like this fancy party sort of theme. And then if you go underground, you get to go to like this kitchen-esque style thing that's sort of to act like the volcano area in a sense, where it's themed just more like a large-scale kitchen, and it's really cool.
Oh, I screwed that up so badly. That's okay.
This
We
level's
have to wait for
making
the
me hungry.
watermelon.
I'm not even
it's
gonna lie.
going to,
I'm in
yeah.
the same boat.
Oh, just wait for the next level.
Yeah, I was originally my original plan was that I was going to have some tortilla chips that I was gonna have for dinner because I kind of forgot to make dinner before the live stream started. And I was getting a little too busy with practice runs and watching the other events that were going on through GDQ.
It happens. It happens.
It does. But
especially at mainline events, you just sit down there and you're like, oh wow, 5 hours just went by.
yeah, it's just like you sit down. It's like, okay, I'm gonna watch this one run. It's only gonna take 30 minutes. It's currently 2 o'clock. If I at least spend this good amount of time watching, I'll be able to study. Oh, and it's 8 p.m. Dang it.
Yeah.
I am desperately searching for a good queso recipe coming up for Thanksgiving. Because that was literally the one thing on my mind when I had this bag of tortilla chips. Just, I need a good queso recipe to go with this and for Thanksgiving coming up. Because my family has always made some incredibly delicious side appetizers and just dips. And I at least want to be able to contribute to this. So, I'll figure something out. Also, we get to turn into a duck. And yeah, there's not really much else to say about that.
Can I get a plushie of that duck?
I need one of those too.
That would be the most cursed thing ever. I would love to. I swear, Glowbox's mouth, and I hate to diss on Glowbox because I love Glowbox. He is my personal favorite character, but my guy's mouth literally looks like a trash lid. Like, I feel like you could step on his foot and his mouth would just open up.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably would because it would probably
I
cry
see
out
it.
in pain because you stepped on its foot.
Oh yeah. So speaking of like pain for the characters, and I know that's a really dark topic just to take, but some of the animations for when these characters take damage are so distractingly funny. Like if Rayman ever falls into lava whenever he's not in like the duck form, like the dark teams you just put Glowbox into, it's I'm sorry, I'm just laughing thinking about it because it is just so dang funny. But essentially, his head grows like twice the size and his mouth pretty much just makes a C shape and he's just screaming in pain with his eyes like just coming off of his head, and it's the most cursed thing ever. And I made that the background of my iPad like 2 years ago and I refuse to change it. It's just too good.
Alright, I'm going to be going for a little bit of a hard trick here. I kind of got it, yeah.
There we
close
go.
enough.
Nice job. Still gotta take a bit of risk here and there.
Any
But it's,
just popped up in chat, by the way. Koopa.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. All right, so we gotta... So, thank you for sending a queso recipe. I'm just gonna read this out loud. All right, so I'm gonna screenshot this on my phone real quick because that's how I'm reading chat. All right, block of Velveeta, 8-ounce block of cream cheese, fry up some maple breakfast sausage, large can of Totem, put everything in a crock pot and let it melt away. Good queso recipe for quick and easy. I'm gonna keep that in mind. Thank you so much. And now I'm just gonna be thinking about that the entire stream, and it will never get out of my head. But I think now would be a funny time to mention, because I did not even realize this until a few moments ago. We're actually going to take a nice trip down memory lane to 2020's run of when Depressing did Rayman Legends. And I can't remember who or how it happened, but what was it? I think it was someone put in chat an entire guacamole recipe. And I can't even believe that I forgot that was a thing until like just a moment ago when my brain just like turned on for a moment.
Yeah, I know. It happened again. I don't know why it's happening. This didn't happen in any of my practice streams. This hasn't happened in forever. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I hate to say it. Like, it's just the worst line of events that can happen. I'm really, really sorry about this.
Oh, good. It happens.
But I'm not even going to lie. You, regardless of the tech errors, my guy, you are plowing through this game like it's no man's business.
Thank you.
Doing a fantastic job with this run. I'll easily agree with that too.
I think it's something specifically with my computer. But I died. Oops. But I have purchased a new one, and I'm getting it in about a couple weeks. So that'll hopefully fix some of the tech issues that I have.
It happens, though. I mean, these things happen with tech.
I mean, the hardware I have is awful, to say the least. At least for modern standards. Because I know people say, like, not to get an AMD processor with an NVIDIA graphics card. Well, that's exactly what I have. So yeah, it's not good. So yeah, but yeah, I'm getting a new one. It's going to be much better. So hopefully I won't have these tech issues anymore.
I saw in chat that the game was too interested in the queso recipe.
Yeah, it's definitely that.
Even the game silenced down just to listen to what the queso recipe was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then I saw someone else say, make your own sound effects. I'm like, that seems like a real thing.
All right, so closing the game one more time. This will be up real quick.
That's what I want to see. While we do this, chat, make your own sound effects for the game. That seems to be a fun idea.
Yeah, everybody just make your best Gabriel Iglesias impression and just become the sound effects. I swear, that man has some of the funniest sound effects I think I have ever heard. He literally is just a living soundboard.
All right, so my player 2 controls one more time.
Woo! I like how you're just able to speed run through the controllers. That's just how in tune with the game you are.
It's because they're all like in the same area. But yeah, it's easy to remember. This is the level I go to. Yeah, we're back in the run now.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even realize this until someone told me in chat. Someone put a guacamole recipe in the chat.
Yes, I was going to say.
Oh, we got both? All right.
Vesper, you want the honor of reading the guacamole recipe?
I can pull it back up.
I didn't realize until someone was like, yeah, I listed a guacamole recipe above, and I was like, you did? Oh my god, you did!
What is that? 8 Haas avocados mashed, 1 de-stemmed full bundle of cilantro minced, 1 full bulb of garlic minced, 1 full lime juice only, 4 jalapenos, cored but seeds left in, diced, 2 diced tomatoes, 1 onion, 1 white onion diced, 1 tablespoon of, I'm not sure what that is, and salt at the taste, optional crumpled feta/olives on top of, depending on, I guess, the attendance of people there, stored with avocado seeds in an airtight container.
Okay, got it. I will keep all that in mind, and I am going to need to take a screenshot of this once again.
Also, I do want to mention I missed the heart. I was too focused on that guac recipe. I'm sorry.
You don't need to apologize. All of us were focused on that.
The guac, though, it's... Oh.
Well,
thank you, chat. You were going to make Thanksgiving like 40 times better for me, and I have all of you to thank for it.
I was going to say, chat is just coming up with Thanksgiving recipes for those that are celebrating the holiday.
Let's go.
See, for me, because my family's Italian, we're making lasagna.
That is awesome.
And then I outside of this, I moonlight in retail, so I got to be up really early. So I'm just, and all my family lives out of state.
Oh Lord.
Dang.
It's fun when you have a bunch of family in the same state as you, and then there's just those family members that are just extremely far away for you.
Yeah.
Also, pop culture reference here.
Oh yeah. All right, chat. What is this pop culture reference? I'm not gonna say anything. You gotta guess it yourself. I wonder what pop culture reference that could be.
I'm thinking it's Batman because I saw the little diamonds in the background.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
maybe.
Batman.
Yeah.
Actually, guys, you're all wrong. This is a reference to the hit game Knack 2.
Oh yeah.
What? Oh, everybody is excited over Thanksgiving lasagna depressing. You got
Oh
chat
my
excited
god!
about that.
Everyone is spamming in chat what it is. I saw Mario and Bowser.
I see
Among Us.
Among Us. It's Among Us.
Whoa.
Oh my lord.
I thought
Globox is
Shrek.
the sus imposter. Oh, yeah, also, this is a boss fight.
Yeah, this is somehow a boss fight. There is a bit of cool tech we can talk about here that isn't like as game breaking as some of the other things we'll see, but it is pretty notable. Excuse me. So there is a little bit of a cooldown timer for when Globox can actually attack the top of the head. When he actually is launched on top of the luchador through that blue mushroom. But the thing is that doesn't apply to player 2 when you spawn them in. So essentially what you can do, you can just whip out player 2 and they instantly can ground pound the luchador's head. It saves a tad bit of time, but over time, that builds up quickly. Not to make any puns, I am so sorry. But that is really the only tech we're gonna get out of this boss fight. Nothing too special to write home about. Nothing like we're gonna phase through the lava and then somehow spawn on the ceiling.
We could though.
We could though, theoretically.
Yes.
But that would require Globox and Grand Minimus to have at least some form of immunity to this lava. Also, I should mention, this guy is an absolute Chad because if you caught it, you may catch it at the bottom of the platform. It's not really obvious since we do skip the cutscene of the luchador spawning in. That lava is actually his brand of hot sauce. So that lava is literally just really hot sauce.
Something else about the lava. Those bumpers to get up to his head are actually hidden under the lava. Oh wait, I was not supposed to be using player 2 for that. My bad.
Hey, you
Goodbye,
still
Grand Minimus.
Oh yeah, you beat him so bad, one of his eyes gets locked out of his socket. It's interesting, to say the least.
Wow. I appreciate the hot sauce.
Gruesome.
We're all just talking about food today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the food world.
Yeah.
We have to.
Here's the food world. And ironically enough, Thanksgiving is coming up, so I'm glad we're getting all this food stuff, because A, I'll be able to eat after this, and B, I am extremely excited for Thanksgiving now that I've been blessed with all of these beautiful dip recipes.
Now we're warping to World 4. The water world. Yay.
And
Swimming. There's actually some neat swimming tech.
oh yeah, that is true. I'll let you mention it a little bit if you want to.
So, something important about swimming and dashing. You have to time your dashes, otherwise you won't actually get speed out of them. Because if you just spam it, you'll go nowhere. And if you ever need to enter water, do it with a ground pound and spin immediately when you're in the water. You get a large burst of speed. Because you're basically transferring that ground pound speed into horizontal water speed.
And what I find funny is that you told me this, and I thought you were full of lies until I realized you were right. But on a side note about more of the tech, we'll actually get to be utilizing some damage boosting tricks with these little lights that you're seeing. These, I guess we could just call them the deadly lights, even though that's a boring name. But they'll actually target on to Glowbox, and we'll actually see he takes an intentional death here, but is able to grab the teensy before he dies. And the cool thing is that he gets respawned at the checkpoint, which is right outside of that little area you were forced to go in to get that teensy, saving you a little bit of time. We won't get any thing out of the blue like that, but we'll get to see a little bit more tech regarding these lights. Specifically, one in the next level, which I won't really spoil. I think it's cool. For some reason, I can't pull it off. I don't know why.
Oh, is that the damage boost?
Yeah, it is the damage boost. It is absolutely 100% the damage boost.
Sorry.
Also,
I didn't understand what you were talking about there.
But go ahead, Vesper. You were saying something?
Yeah, I know she said that this is the water world. Instead, I bet they didn't make a world called Water World. Because, I mean, that's just there.
Yeah. It's another reference.
Yes.
It's 20,000 lums under the sea.
But if we do the glitch that I mentioned where you get 10,000 lums from beating the Cloud of Darkness, you'll basically get half of those lums. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret chat.
10,999.
I'll let you in on a little secret chat. There are not actually but I can't speak, 20,000 lums in the span of World 4. There just aren't.
What?
Sorry to burst the bubble.
Freaking out here.
I appreciate the pun.
I almost died to that lightning ball.
Yeah.
Ow.
Wait,
Okay.
Oh,
never
I didn't
mind.
intend that. But I will say, I'm not gonna lie personally, Origins did have some really, really fun underwater levels, including this one as well. One of the coolest levels in this game, which we unfortunately don't get to play through, is 4-3, Mansion of the Deep. Has probably the coolest sequence of just events throughout that level. And we get the damage boost right there. Just point that out. But there's this really cool secret agent feeling you get in 4-3, where you start off by going underwater in these two separate sections to disable the power so you can go through this one door. Then, right after that, you get to go through this little secret agent style area by dodging lasers. And I'm not sure if anyone else in chat did this, but I was the guy that absolutely had the incentive of completing the achievement to get through that area, the final area of 4-3 without taking damage from the lasers, just because it was just an achievement that you could get. But we have gotten through a lot of this game in a fairly quick manner. And oh my god, I did not.
Yeah.
I keep throwing these puns out. I'm sorry.
Hey, I don't mind the puns.
I don't either. I just don't want to sound like I'm throwing out dad jokes when I am absolutely not a father.
Hey, dad jokes are good for anyone.
That is true.
It's okay to drown in dad jokes.
That was the most intentional damage boost ever.
Hey, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I gave you some extra height, intentional or
It
not.
worked. It worked pretty well, surprisingly. Oh yeah, something I didn't mention. In the previous level, you saw me kind of skip over the first teensy there. I actually didn't skip it. One of the enemies shot a lightning ball, and it hit the toad, like, that had the teensy, killing the toad and freeing the teensy. So I got it for free. It also did not give me any lumps, because if anything other than me frees the teensy, I do not get the lumps. It's almost like the enemy gets the lungs.
And I like that intentional inclusion in the game too, because you can just utilize other enemy projectiles and whatnot. I mean, It's cool to be able to have that, but I'm fairly certain that anytime you do that in a casual playthrough, it's just by complete accident. Because I doubt there's going to be anybody that's summoning the might of Zeus to just break open an iron cage.
That Teensy was on a stick.
Oh wait, no. He was on a stick and somehow didn't die from Zeus's lightning bolt.
So another ow.
Thank you for bringing that up, because now I'm just confused.
I won't do the co-op boost here then. I didn't get enough speed for it, unfortunately. That co-op boost in the King Room is a little bit hard. Because one, you can move so fast and time your punch wrong and just fly right over the cage and get zapped. Or you don't time your punch right and you land in a lightning field right below you. Also, another cool damage boost here to get into the door faster. You just have to be a little bit quick with that to make sure not to get zapped twice by the lightning.
Also, Murphy is... I know I mentioned it before, but I don't like Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy was intended as... He was mainly in the game because this was a Wii U exclusive originally. And they just kind of shoehorned him into other versions and mapped him to a single button.
They really wanted it to be a Wii U exclusive. They really
3 buttons.
Oh my lord, I just read something in chat and I am gonna try and hold myself back from going on a tangent here, because I just saw someone mention the Million Lums achievement for this game.
Yeah.
So for context, for anyone who's not familiar with the character unlock sequence in Rayman Legends, it's not tied into story progression or anything like that, or collecting teensies. Because in Origins, it was tied into collecting the Electoons that you would rescue throughout the levels. Here, it's just tied into the Lums you collect. And the final character you unlock is a Million Lums. And you might be thinking, oh, it's going to be this really cool skin, maybe like a Golden Rayman or something. Nope. It's just a naked Rayman with a leaf covering his private part, which
I'm sorry,
is
what?
not worth... Yeah, no, I am not lying to you. That is literally your reward for earning a Million Lums. It's...
They did the same thing to Glowbox.
Yeah, but you unlock them way earlier.
Yeah.
That's still not worth it. I wanted a golden glow box. We do get a golden teensy though for getting all 700 teensies in the game, which I personally think is really cool, because they'll actually glow in any of the parts of the game where there's like this darkness filter over it. Like in this room here, he would glow and get rid of the darkness around him, which is really, really cool. And I think he's the only character that actually has some mechanic tied in with their ability, because I don't think there's another reskin that allows for anything unique to said character. But side note here, you'll notice that he just rescued a teensy that was tied underwater on top of that industrial piston.
You're gonna go off on another tangent.
I'm not. I'm just gonna ask,
okay,
how is he alive?
That's a good question.
Someone explain how someone... You know, this teensy is literally tied underwater, gasping for air. It's tied to an industrial-sized piston that keeps crushing on a cycle. That this dude is kind of just chilling there. Kind of just vibing in peace. I know that Rayman was selected as the hero for his strength and abilities, but you really should have given the title to that teensy right there. Because he would have been perfect. He would have been like... I don't know any heroes that have like extreme durability as sort of like... he would have been like the Deadpool of the Rayman series. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I guess I'm just not I'm not a Marvel enthusiast. But unfortunately, we don't get to utilize the infinite wall jump here to avoid all the frogs that keep spawning in because you get to see all of them keep spawning in for the top, and we have to deal with the deadly lights as well.
Oh my god. I did the walking PR boost. Oh my god.
No,
I got really good speed with that too.
So,
I decided to try it just for fun, and I got it. That's
Nice.
Invasion
Go.
runners of Rayman Legends rejoice. He actually did it.
The Invasions community is going to be so happy with me.
They're going to explode with joy. The fact that you got that in a GDQ event. But absolutely well done, by the way. And hopefully we'll get to see a really cool damage boost that I'm pretty sure every single person who has played through this game did if they had an extra heart. Because
that's the next level.
oh, it is. Oh, you're right. Okay. I kind of had a brain fart again. Oh well. But there's this cool damage boost we get to utilize in the next sequence where we're going through the mini-boss phase in World 4, which is the giant sea dragon. And there's this one room that is extremely infamous for being extremely difficult to go through without taking damage. And what I'm referring to is that there's this one section right at the end of the level where there's sort of like this boxed in area where you get to swim through these lasers going back and forth. And it's really hard to get through that without taking damage because it sounds simple on paper, but there's the gust of water that keeps going in the background. So you have to adjust for that as well. But there's going to be a really fun thing that Depressing will end up doing, which, to be honest, personally, this is just me. I don't think that this is a speedrun strat. I think this is the intended way to get through that room, because why in the world would you go through the torture of trying to do it the actual way the developers wanted you to?
I'm sure people have done it. I think I was one of the few who did it normally. Also, this level, I take some pretty tight corners. Most other people don't. Like, you see me going straight through those lights.
You know, Depressing is...
Most others don't.
Wow.
He's just clinically insane when it comes to these levels. He has no regard for his own safety. I mean, he's just... To be honest, if I was playing through this level, I would basically, like, not cut these corners tight whatsoever. I do not have the guts for that.
Also, yeah, I lost my heart, so I can't do the skip. So I get to do it normally, like a normal person.
Oh, yay.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, so exciting, right? Normally you just go through that laser that's blocking the path, and yeah.
I love just the subtle bit of anger you had not being able to achieve that. It is a nice
It's a little bit of
save,
annoyance.
but
It seems like 7 seconds.
also, there's a really funny thing where you... I just love the little toilet flush sound effect here that you just get to listen to. It's so funny. But you'll also...
Now... Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. So, I'll mention this real quick and then I'll toss it off to you, Depressing. So, you'll notice that if you actually get a gold trophy for Lums, you'll get to go through this really, really long dance party. That is the reason we want to avoid it as much as possible. We are not going to do any dance parties for collecting Lums in Legends. We're saving that for Origins, everybody. But Depressing, I'll let you go ahead and take it on.
Alright. I kind of ruined this stage. The 4th boss. You'll see why.
Yeah, no, he found a little funny thing.
If I can do it.
See if he gets it. Did you able to get it?
The teensy's wall jumping. There we go. I got it a little bit, but I got it too late. You'll see the floor is kind of going down before it usually does. What I did with the teensy is I clipped him through the wall.
And basically, what that allows us to do is that when that teensy is able to clip into the wall, we pretty much just activate a sequence that shouldn't start until the animation for the mechanical dragon plays when he starts swooping down at the top of the screen like you saw before. But funny enough, that is not the only tech we'll get to see in this boss fight. There's one little trick that is very interesting that we'll see at the beginning of Phase 3. But
The clip is called a co-op clip, originally from a co-op zip, which is the same thing except you do one less input. But basically, holding players in this game is a broken mechanic, and specifically with Glowbox, because he can. If you turn around and hold up, it just allows the second player to fly off to the direction Glowbox faced. And yeah, if you add an attack with that second player, it allows them just to clip through walls. So you can see here, I'm kind of just flying over everything.
Hopefully
And I
he's
will
able to land
utilize
this.
one more
There you
co-op
go.
clip, and there we
Nice
go. We skipped
job.
the third phase.
I will say, from personal experience, that's a lot harder than it looks.
I love those type of tricks though. The ones that just you just look at them and it's just like, wow, that looks so much fun, looks so easy, and then you try it, and then you try it, and then you try it, and then you stop playing for like 4 months, and then you try it again. Then you put the game down for 2 years, and then you try it, and then you get it.
Yeah, there you go.
Not that I've done anything from personal experience or anything like that.
And I totally feel that, because I remember I tried that for, oh God, why can't I remember the game? I feel embarrassed for not remembering this. Super Mario Odyssey has a few tricks that are really crazy. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try that. Like the Cappy warps between checkpoints that you can do for the capless runs. Or the minimal captures runs, excuse me. But I'm not going to go on a tangent on Mario Odyssey. This is Rayman Legends after all, but we have finished up our 4th boss fight, and we'll go ahead and mention that we're getting to our little closing act of the game, because we're going to be finishing it off by collecting the rest of the teensies we need. So we're going to be getting to see Depressing destroy these invasion levels, along with finally utilizing our lucky scratch tickets that we've been getting throughout the run, and take a nice trip down memory lane and actually get to go visit the Origins levels. But I do have a funny thing about Origins that I will mention real quick. So this is one thing I didn't tell Depressing about earlier, but he and I had a lot of fun when it came to Origins with a specific level, which is 2-1 here in Rayman Legends version of the Origin stages, because we go out of our way to actually go to that level and get the teensies, but in an any percent run of Rayman Origins, we completely bypass that level. We don't even use it whatsoever, not even seen. And the amount of time that Depressing spent trying to get it so that that level was a viable place to go in Origins, it was interesting to say the least. What was the time you ended up getting?
I got like a 141.
But yeah, it was pretty sad to not be able to include it.
It wasn't viable.
Yeah.
I don't know which level we would replace it with. It happened a while ago, so I unfortunately don't have the memory of it.
There's a better question for Twin or somebody else.
Yeah.
But there isn't really much to mention aside from what I said earlier. So a lot of this is just going to be us watching Depressing sort of clear out the run. We'll be getting to see some tech once it actually gets to the final boss, and we'll get to see one interesting method of going through Hell Breaks Loose, which I think is... I don't even know why you are not going to go for Quiet Time specifically on Hell Breaks Loose, because you'll just see when we get to that level. He does some risky things, to say the least.
You get used to it.
Yeah. Used to it is a light way to put it.
Don't worry, I thought the same thing. But guess what? My first speedrun of this game, and I remember this vividly, I did that level first try.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. So when I say you get used to it, you get used to it. I'd say 5-1 is a harder level.
Oh, yeah, 5-1 is definitely one of the trickiest levels for this run. Just because a lot of that tech that we saw with the shield boosting is, it's really tight, especially with those fireballs. Oh. Now that we're
I'm not making that same mistake like in the practice.
Yeah. I need to give a massive shout out to Depressing, because in the practice run we had before we went live on GDQ's hotfix, man, he made one of the most incredible recoveries in this invasion run. If you notice, there was a vine where it was like a little platform, vine below it, and you would swing onto it to wall jump between these falling platforms. Depressing actually ended up missing that wall and had to recover by doing an infinite wall jump off screen, and was somehow able to recover, which I wish I could show it off, but yeah, I'm not sure that's how it works. You would have to tune into his streams to be able to see all the wacky stuff he's able to pull off.
I mean, it's just random things that happen. I think I hit my head on the platform above me, and that's why I ended up falling down, and I didn't realize it in time, and somehow saved it, and I still got the under 40-second time to save all 3 teensies. It was like a 37-second time, though.
But, nice. Good mention. Chat, we have finally rescued our first and only princess. And now we're going to be going to the lottery.
It's gambling!
I mean,
not really, though.
When you save a princess, that's probably a good time to play the lottery.
Oh, yeah. No, we got to fuel Depressing's gambling addiction. So, I will mention something cool about these lottery tickets. They're not randomized. There are certain times where you will actually get these things as you go through these lucky tickets. We're only going to get 10, but you'll see that at certain points, I believe it's ticket 5 and 10, you'll unlock 1-1 and 2-1 for the Back to Origins. And we're going to get 1 teensy at some point, and it's either going to happen... Well, excuse me, we already did get it. He's just going so fast, I can barely keep up with this man. But it's either through ticket 7 and 9, where you're able to get that 1 teensy that will kind of just keep in our back pocket for the overall counter. So now we finally get a nice trip down memory lane, and we're going to be starting off in the Desert of Didgeridoos. What a mouthful to say.
That's a name, the Desert of Didgeridoos.
I'm gonna give my hats off to Origins for the 30th time during the stream. They had some of the most creative world themes. Just period.
That's one of those instruments that I've always wanted to play just to learn a little bit more about them.
I was always interested in just how unique the didgeridoo is.
Really, yes.
It's literally just like a larger flute in a sense, or just a larger recorder. I would absolutely love to play one of those at some point.
And it's such a unique sound too.
Oh yeah. Now, I do have a bit of a confession to make. I know I've talked about Origins a lot, but here's a funny thing. I speedrun Origins more than Legends. Depressing speedruns Legends more than Origins.
We're like polar opposites.
We are basically polar opposites for this game, but the funny thing is that I'm here with him right now commentating, mainly because we actually went to another event together to speedrun Rayman Origins, where he was my commentator. So it was extremely interesting just getting to talk about the other's game.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
But it's really fun getting to see how similar the tech is between both of these games. But to be honest, chat, if you want to get into the modern Rayman games, do not, and I stress this so hard, do not start with Origins. I beg of you. Legends is so much better to start with. The movement is a lot more fluid, a lot more fair, in Origins, it kind of feels like, I don't know what the best way is to put it with some weird
Stiff.
analogy. Yeah, it just feels stiff. You know that hot knife on butter I was talking about? Make that a cold knife. That's Rayman Origins movement in a nutshell. There we go. I got the comparison.
Yeah.
All let's talk about food earlier, and now knives on butter. I'm gonna get some food after this.
There
I
you go.
agree. Yeah, Eastern Standard Time over here is kind of nice. It's about to be 10 p.m. and you better believe that I'm probably just gonna hop into my car and go to a drive-thru somewhere.
Sounds like a good idea.
No, I'm a college student. I am too broke to afford DoorDash, so I'm going to sacrifice the gas in my car to go to the nearest restaurant that I can, and I don't even know what that is. I'm hoping it's not McDonald's. That's all I'm praying for. But
You'll have to come back during the next show and inform chat of what it was.
oh yeah, no, I will absolutely do that. Dude, when what is the next show? I didn't even catch what the next event was.
Our next show is immediately after this. It's going to be called She is Speed. Female
Heck yeah.
protagonist run by female runners.
Nice. So yeah, good luck to them.
Yeah. Looks like on the list will be Pokemon.
Ooh.
Oh.
Which one?
I think it's going to be new Pokemon Snap.
Nice.
Chad, I have another confession to make. So, even though I think Pokemon is really cool and I collected all the cards as a kid, I have not played a single Pokemon game in my life. No Pokemon video games, no spin-offs, no nothing. The only material or media that I have played that has any Pokemon within it is Smash Bros.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's good to know. I'm glad you're reassuring me of that because all of my college friends are acting like I am some sort of monster for not touching a Pokemon game.
I haven't
All right.
I haven't really touched Pokemon since the second generation, so I mean, I'm kind of in that boat.
Fair.
Coop, if you were to start with one, I'd say probably start with Gen 5. That's my personal favorite.
Okay.
Or Gen 6. You could do Gen 6 too.
But for the record, since we're on the topic of food and Pokemon, let's not compare, you know.
Oh my lord! I just read
I'm not
chat.
saying come up with ingredients, you know, for food involving, but no, don't
Go
do
for it.
that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, don't do that. But chat's already trying to figure out the mystery of where I'm gonna go after the stream for dinner.
I've noticed that.
I've seen Arby's and Taco Bell.
There's an Applebee's in there.
Oh my lord! I don't even think that there is an Applebee's where I live. I mean,
Can I mention a story of Applebee's and why my family will never go again?
in this
Apparently they
Rayman Legends
inten-
run, yes, please.
Apparently, they intentionally wait to cook your food. And
Wait, really?
yes, my parents went. It was almost empty there. They were waiting so long to get their food cooked. The manager told them they wait like 20 to 30 minutes before they start cooking their food when they order it.
Goodness. That is
Wow.
so awful.
And if it's busy, it goes up to an hour.
Wow.
I never thought the Ruby Tuesdays where I lived had bad service. Oh my lord.
And that's why we'll never go to Applebee's again.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Similar.
Sorry, Applebee's, but I had to.
I see a Subway, Wendy's, Burger King.
Don't worry, chat. I will come back. I will find a way to include it in chat in some way. I don't know how it's gonna be, but I'm going to include it in some manner. Lord. I love reading through all of these just to see what some of the guesses are.
Yes.
And I find it interesting that like half of these restaurants don't even exist where I live, and I would have to drive 40 minutes out to another city just to get these.
I like how you went off with it. You know, you're on the East Coast and it's getting close to 10. I was like, oh, okay, just go to In-N-Out.
Yep, of course.
Yeah.
No, we could just drive out like an hour just to go to Five Guys.
There you go. Yeah.
Even though I have severe tree nut allergy, and I really should not be going there
Don't go there.
because a lot of their stuff just comes into cross contamination with other nuts and whatnot because they have peanuts. They have that little peanut thing. I think I'm not sure, but yeah, it's a little bit of a dangerous place for me to go, to say the least.
Also, that was just the last invasion level we're playing, and the last level I'm playing to get teensies.
Heck yeah,
And now we're
nice
going
job.
to Hell Breaks Loose.
And we are coming in. There we go. We have finally made it to our 260 threshold. Now, the interesting thing is that the 260 teensies that we've been collecting don't even lock the final boss. It just locks the penultimate level. So, if there was any sequence break that would be found to be able to get to the final boss earlier, that would be awesome. I have no idea if that exists, but I am going to...
Someone made an April Fool's video on it.
Oh my gosh. I am going to be, I'm going to be quiet a bit, just to let everybody admire what's about to happen. And I'm only doing this, and I know you don't need quiet, depressing, but I am
I'd
just
rather
in
have
awe.
you talk.
Okay, then I will talk. Okay, so we don't need any of the teensies, and Murphy's kind of slow to react to certain things, but we're gonna pretty much just watch Depressing fall down over and over again. And he does some very, very risky maneuvering. Now, I would probably be like, clenching in fear if he had lost a heart earlier through the level. But thank the Lord, nicely done.
Wow.
And we're gonna be getting to the final segment where we're actually gonna be skipping that dragon right there because this is obviously a pacifist run. But now we have finally gotten through our last of the mini boss levels, and we are going to be going to the big baddie himself, the culmination of the entirety of this story. Because, God, don't even get me started on the stories of Rayman games. They're just all sorts of weird. I think I went on like a 10-minute tangent one time about the story of Origins probably being one of the weirdest things, and I am not doing that again.
Nothing beats when you get into those modes.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, you just find some sort of minute detail and just go for, like you said, a 10-minute rant on it.
You know, I'm probably going to find a way to set a world record on my own during this stream of most rants in an hour and a half time span. But you'll notice he'll save one teensy. Yeah, it's totally not because it's faster to do the little ground pound right there. Yeah, no, we're actually saving that because that's the teensy that actually ends up doing Depressing's taxes. So we have to rescue him or else he's going to be in a lot of trouble. So you'll notice we did a bit more of the little restart sequences that we've been seeing throughout, and it's actually a lot faster and a lot more noticeable because we'll start out at the bottom, restart from the nearest checkpoint, which is automatically activated after a phase is completed, and instantly be spawned into where the Gust of Wind section is. And hopefully Depressing will be able to pull this off, because we'll want to be able to kill off these two Dark Cloud enemies right here in one go. He's gonna get it.
Not exactly,
Almost.
but killed him well enough. I figured if I didn't, one was going to kill me.
Also, the Rayman Legends community does not condone tax fraud or tax evasion of any kind.
Right.
It's true, yeah.
And here we are, the final phase, which I think quite a few people can agree with me that this was probably the hardest part of the game. The Cloud of Darkness was a really, really big challenge the first time I played through this game. But we'll get to see one bit of cool tech right here, where Depressing will literally just sort of be like moving so fast, he'll just be back kicking back and forth, summoning those
that was so fast. Oh my gosh.
That was amazing. Wow. Nice job, dude.
Wow.
You know, we are closing in, and time is actually going to be coming up pretty
Time
shortly.
in 3, 2, 1, now.
Nice job, dog.
GG.
What time are we looking at?
I have no idea.
About 1:31:40.
Nice job, man.
Yeah.
That was about a minute slower than my SGDQ run of last year, but this run is in higher quality and probably, I'm going to be honest, a little bit more fun.
That is what matters here at the Game Zone.
But I mean, we did have the awesome commentator Spike Vegeta last time, as well as the other amazing commentators, DJ Thed, Kane of Paki, and Nils147. They did awesome that time. And thank you so much, Coopsator, here today commentating for me. Thank you so much.
I'm glad I could join, man. This was an absolute blast. This is literally my first GDQ event, and this was amazing.
Yeah. So, if anyone saw this run, like, ooh, I want to run Rayman Legends, or, you know, any Rayman or in general, where would they go to learn more about the run?
Oh yeah, speedrun.com/Rayman Legends. You'll find 2 Discord links there, one for the Rayman speedrunning Discord and one for the Rayman Legends Discord. The Rayman Legends Discord is mainly for challenges and invaded levels, so if you're more into those, you can join there, and there is a plethora of people that is willing to help you out. Also, if you want to check out any of my stuff, I haven't been doing a whole lot recently, mainly because of school and work. But you can check me out at twitch.tv/depressingchild. I'll probably, later in the year, when it's closer to New Year's, I'm thinking of doing a 100% speedrun.
Ooh.
So if you want to check that out and some practice attempts, you can check me out there, and I'll send out a notification. And if you want to check out some of Coopstater's stuff, you can check him out at his YouTube channel, youtube.com/whatever, Coopstater.
Yep, just search
find him there.
Coopsator, you'll find it. I wasn't going to plug in my stuff, but do it for the line. Why not?
But yeah, thank you all for having me. And yeah, if you ever want to run this game and need my help specifically, you can always DM me. My DMs are open. So go ahead. And yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Yeah. And any other final shout outs you'd like to have?
I think that's about it. And shout outs to the Rayman Legends Challenge and the Invasion community. You guys are awesome.
I'm going to shout out one person. That person is Banana Man. He is not in any pretension. He does not have any correlation to the Rayman speedrunning community. He's just a good friend of mine, and I thought I'd embarrass him on stream.
There you go.
Well, thank you both so much for showcasing that super fun game. And do not forget, while the bargain bin may be shutting its doors for the night, we do have another great run or another great show coming up. That is going to be She Is Speed. We'll be showcasing the new Pokemon Snap game as well. So stay tuned for that. While we get all that taken care of, this is a great opportunity for you to get up, stretch, hydrate, use the restroom, all of that fun jazz. Also, while Coop and myself and a lot of others are going to get some food, that's also a good time. Stay tuned. And remember, chat. Coop said they're going to come back and tell us what they had. So stay tuned for that in chat. But yes, She Is Speech coming up next. Stay tuned.